Hey guys, how are all of you beautiful people? Hope all of you are doing fine, and yes, this is a new series, Marvel Earth 999,000. An unknown entity waved the supposedly limb-looking arm, knocking unconscious a fated but unfateful person, sending him to an unknown space and time, dreaming about the thinnest and lacklustre red string. A man with a soul unique for himself, unknown if it's better or worse than everybody. Story unknown, or is it? So let's start without any delay. We flew to our building, got on the rooftop where there is lights, as we saw Aunt Helen swimming in the pool. I carried Lila on her waist so we can land slowly without alerting Aunt Helen. As we land, we directly go to a room to change clothes so we can also relax to swimming with Aunt Helen. Taking off my battle uniform and changing to a simple shorts, I showered my body to clean dust and dirts from my skin and proceeded to walk to the pool. I am with Lila, who changed to her bikini, and also wet like me to get ready to swim. Aunt Helen already noticed us walking towards her and smiled. "Oh, you two just came here. How about Krista? She's been spending her time in laboratory and didn't take my offer to swim here." Aunt Helen spoke straightforwardly, as she's right that Krista have been analyzing and studying my blood and also some other things, so Aunt Helen is currently swimming by herself. "Don't worry, Aunt Helen, we are here to accompany you tonight." Lila and Aunt Helen are closer and closer over time, since they also spend time together cooking and other times in shopping with Krista. "I will just stay here and relax, you can enjoy swimming." I sat to the side of the pool where the water just reached my neck when sitting. I closed my eyes, relaxing but also contemplating about what should the future may be like because of my existence. I feel like my powers have much more potential than being a variant of super soldier, since I can absorb solar energy. Wait a damn minute. I just realized Sentry. Yeah, Sentry, the Superman version of Marvel. My powers are very similar to him. Am I the Sentry version of this universe? But still something is different. Sentry got his powers from super soldier serum from an unknown scientist while he is a drug addict and chose to be a superhero. He is much stronger than I am, and he has an evil version of him that can be considered as a weakness and a villa of his own. I also have overloaded state and got crazy when absorbing too much. Sentry also absorbs sunlight, but I've never tried if only from yellow sun can I absorb energy from. I never tried touching an infinity stones or tried absorbing energy from arc reactor. My powers have very much similarities to Sentry, but I also don't have overpowering abilities like Sentry's physique, X-ray, or any other abilities that he gained every other times. My powers consisted of only above human physique but not too strong. Maybe I'm still young. I only have optic blast and telescope vision and night vision. I'm more similar to Ares of Eternals than Sentry. Well, it's not weird to have similar powers like Mr. Fantastic and Miss Marvel, the heart-shaped herb and super soldier serum. Many people have similarities but have slight differences. I can be my own way. The main thing I am different from Sentry was the energy I released to form aura and coating to my body and reinforced the powers that I gained multiple times of strength. I don't have inexhaustible physical strength like Eternals and Sentry, but once I learned absorbing other cosmic energy aside from yellow sun, then my powers will have its own path that differ myself from Sentry, Icaris and Kryptonians. Kryptonian's genes is changing with the solar energy from yellow sunlight, that's why his genes weakened from red sunlight and green kryptonite. Sentry got his powers from drinking golden super soldier serum, becoming golden Sentry and acquiring powers from millions of exploding suns, and his main source of energy came from yellow sunlight, but his glaring weakness is his own mind. The serum only change physical abilities like erasing physical and genetic defect, and also prevents having illness, and also grants individuals immunity to any disease, illness, and poison known to man due to their body's ability to process it faster than the effects can cause harm to their body. Sentry have the mentality to switch form to demon version of him similar to Hulk and Banner. While Ikris, the Eternals are technically advanced engineered with cosmic powers by the Celestials. They are programmed similar to Android. They absorb cosmic energy to perform cosmic magics and use it individually to fight in battling deviants. He absorbed cosmic energy instead of solar-based, and his physique is engineered to be superhuman with no chance to be stronger than it is. With those three as my inspiration, I have a path. If there is something that I can do that they cannot, is using solar energy to reinforce myself while continuously absorbing solar energy. The more I absorb solar energy, manipulating these powers is a matter of time and training. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 76, Chapter 76. Chapter 76. While I am deep in thought, the two women are having their own conversations that will attract people to listen if they listen to it. The more deep their talking was, the more shy Aunt Helen gets, as she is almost already on her mid-30s and still single. Her sister, Krista's mother, got a daughter early, so Aunt Helen looked like older sister of Krista instead of much older aunt. Her life have been easy since her sister and brother-in-law spoiled her with Krista when they were little. Aunt Helen already knows that there is different from her sister and niece, as her sister is a scientist and she has friend who frequently visited their home to talk about their works. She once heard them talking that Krista's genes is the chosen main host of their virus. The virus is harmful to most people, but Krista's genes, accepted like her genetic mutation, is compatible. More years passed by and she confronted her sister once for what she heard. She got the answer that Krista's genes have mutate slowly but surely, but the current technology and study of the virus is not yet finished, so she does not have complete form and it's not harmful for Krista. Instead it is the revolutionary genetic engineering, so her sister asked to keep it a secret even to Krista. Her sister died years later and Krista was changing day by day as if her physical and genetic is having less and less defects, and she never once suffered from any sickness, so she believes that what her sister said might be true. She once asked her niece if she have interest being an actress or model, but it seems her parents have huge influence to her, as she also wants to study medicine and become a scientist, a perfect version of beauty and brains. Back to the present situation, the teasing of Lila continues as she said, "You both aunt and niece have very good genes, beautiful and sexy, and even your sister is a scientist." Aunt Helen laughed mirthlessly, thinking of the past when her parents heard their daughters chose different profession. "Well, our parents are even shocked that I chose to become a chef, as they both are doctors, and sister and brother-in-law chose virologist and surgeon, respectively, while I chose to become a chef." Lila, well, being a chef is also a little bit of scientist, right? Experimenting in various ingredients from all over the world and trying to make a dish that is relevant to health and energy. Being chef is more practical scientist. Lila gave her view on scientist unpopular opinion, and Aunt Helen looked at her with wide eyes as she didn't expect Lila's answer, but her words are not wrong. Being a chef is a more practical scientist that also experiment and finding new things, that is harmful and healthy to human body, or in scientific term biological life. Aunt Helen smiled at Lila. Appreciation filled her eyes. "Well, I'm thankful my parents are open-minded and supportive to my profession. I even cook for them every time I visited them, as well as my sister and brother-in-law. It's just sad that they left us years ago. My parents died when they chose to participate in war. They are both doctors in military, so when they left, my sister and I lived together every other times." Aunt Helen drank her wine and decided to ask about Lila about hers. "How about you? Your past story, I wanna hear it, as well as your story with that guy Kane." Lila seems ready as she expect that this conversation will shift from Aunt Helen to her, so as she thought for a few moments, she opened her lips and told, starting from her teenage years, I have a complete family, but changes when suddenly got divorced when my mother found out my father got a second family. She drank wine slowly while looking at the stars. My father admitted that nothing will change and he can provide both family love and financial support. My father remained true to his words. While he has second family, he doesn't give less time to my mother and I, but my mother asks for time off and divorced my father. I think her pride cannot take that she loved a man with all her heart but still got other women pregnant. Years goes by, father still visited my mother and they got along pretty well, but did not discuss marrying again, as they enjoy being what they are now than being married. As I am older, I moved to other place to work and nothing exciting happens, just plain old days working and going home, dating some men, but they all have the same purpose of getting into my pants, so I dumped them. But I think giving those perverts hopes and crushing them at the end gave me some entertainment. Lila laughed, remembering those days when her days are bland. Aunt Helen, I've been meaning to ask. You're always going somewhere, but I don't know what your job or profession is. Lila eyed her and looked at me. I felt her gaze that seems to want to poke me, so I opened my eyes. Aunt Helen wants to know our job. Is it all right to tell her? I shrugged and said, well, there is no need to hide it from her since she is a family. Lila's eyes turned to flushing Aunt Helen, as she is a little bit drunk now. Okay, since Kane already said you're a family, let me say, we are currently working with Captain America and the other Avengers, roaming the world and arresting criminals and stopping illegal arms and sending them to prison for their crimes. Aunt Helen eyed Lila suspiciously, not 100% believing. Really? But some news said you are all criminals invading and trespassing other country and causing chaos. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 77, Chapter 77. Chapter 77. Lila looked at Aunt Helen and she conjured a light sword in the air and every other kinds of weapons. She let the sword flew to Kane's side and Lila held Aunt Helen's shoulder, who was still having an unbelievable expression on her face. Lila teleported to the sword's location, which is on Kane's side. Aunt Helen looked around and seeing she is on a different side of the pool, her mouth open and closed, not sure what to ask as she is still confused what just happened, so she closed her mouth to let Lila explain herself. So, as you can see, we are eligible to be part of Team Avengers and we've been traveling around the world fighting crimes and making the world a better place while hiding in the dark. Some politicians who have been profiting from those criminal acts blame us and call us all names. Lila continued playing with her weapons made of her light manipulation. Aunt Helen asked what she is curious from. How can you do something like that? Is that real magic? Like Thor, who summoned lightning with his hammer from the sky, because you don't use any gadgets or technology to make something like that, and you can even change positions. Technically, I am a descendant of an ancient human engineer by a cosmic scientist with their blood. The humans they experimented on gained supernatural powers to help their kind to battle another powerful cosmic species. Unfortunately for them and fortunately for our ancestors, they rebelled and gained powers and created the kingdom of Inhuman. Lila introduced first how she get her powers from. Aunt Helen got excited and got her face closer to Lila's face. You mean, there are more like you? Where are they? And your kind is called Inhuman. Lila, whoa, slow down. Why are you so excited? And yes, there are many of us, but all us are normal human until some catalyst help us gain supernatural abilities. So yeah, Inhumans, because we are technically humans engineered by aliens. Aunt Helen drank again the wine from her wine glass, which she holds, and chugged it in one go. Her drunkenness got reduced by listening to Lila's story. Lila continues her story. It seems she enjoy telling story to Aunt Helen like a kids bragging about each other in an accident. I have no clear idea what kind of catalyst, but all I remember was getting through a white fog, and the next time I knew I used my abilities and accidentally got seen by some random people, and on the next few days, I've been running from some black-suited guys that wants to capture me until I met Kane from some northern country in Europe. I interjected her when she finished speaking. I'm wondering, how did you get to Europe? Did you just randomly teleport there, or did you board some ship? Of course, I boarded some ship. I even had to leave the ship alone just to board another ship in the middle of the ocean, just to erase my trace in case those tracking me got lost and stop finding me when there are no sign of me anywhere. Lila complained about her experience of boarding ship by ship just to escape from her unknown pursuers. Aunt Helen maintained her control of her emotion as she contemplated of telling what she knew about her niece, if she is also an inhuman like Lila or another. Lila, you said there is kingdom of inhumans. Are they also similar to Wakanda, that hides from the world but they are the most advanced technological nation? I laughed at Aunt Helen and informed her of some news that will be shocking all over the world if informed. Not only are Wakandas technologically powerful, but there are soon many countries that will shock the whole world if said so. Never tell anyone what I will say to you. I enjoy this talk of bragging, so we kept drinking wine, and Lila used her light manipulation to get more wine and snacks from drawer on the corner of the rooftop where there is a small house containing foods and drinks. Wakanda hide from the world because they have a precious metal that will cause greed and war just to acquire it, so someone who owned that mountain of precious resources needed to be powerful nation. The information I said can be said not to be too important, since those who has brains will include what I said on the list why Wakanda chose to hide all those years. Next was New Asgard from Norway. That's where Thor and his people live now since they had to migrate. They will be one of the most powerful nations since they have advanced technologies and Asgardian magic to help them become a powerful nation, and their people can live much longer than regular humans. I said while eating snack they only need to abide to the agreement that they won't wage war on other countries since they have powerful armies and Thor, a literal god of thunder. So powerful. Are they really a gods like the mythology said them to be? Aunt Helen asked, as she is curious about these gods. They are not technically a god like Christians and Muslims depicted gods, but they are powerful aliens and live longer, and they have potential to be a literal god as long as they live longer than planets and gained knowledge like Odin, but he is dead now. Aunt Helen, so even gods can die. Are you sure the new Asgardian won't wage wars to planet Earth? They seem so powerful that they can rule the whole Europe if they propaganda that the myth Thor, Loki and Odin are true. No, they won't. They've been guarding this world for millennium. As you know, Earth is called Midgard by the Asgardians. They will choose to protect this world like their own home, and no conflict will arise as long as other country won't antagonize their nation. And lastly, Inhumans. They live on the other side of the moon. They have kingdom there, and they used the technology left there by the aliens who created them. Atalan was the city of the Inhuman kingdom led by the Inhuman royal family, if my memories is not mistaken. It is founded by a group of Inhumans fleeing persecution from Earth to the safety of the moon. Are you satisfied with our stories? It may only be introducing their kingdoms and nations, but it is still valuable information. And last but not the least, I think Atlantis is real and they are similar to Wakanda, and that's all I currently know. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 78. Chapter 78. Chapter 78. Aunt Helen murmured, listening to our stories. Her brains did not stop working as the information is too much to keep just from one sitting. In a single night of talks, she learned that the people living in the same roof as her are part of the Avengers. No need for Avengers introduction, as they are the front line of heroes and the Earth's guardian. She learned that there are other kinds of people who have supernatural abilities next to her and talking with her, telling her all kinds of storytelling. She learned that the world contains more secrets than just what normal people sees, that is only available to some people with certain strength and status. And she also learned that kingdoms hidden from the world's eye that is so secretive that even most governments don't have any knowledge about their status and whereabouts. Aunt Helen's massaged her face and chugged another glass of wine while relaxing her body on the side of the pool, wandering in her own thoughts and arranging everything to avoid confusions. Lila and I just look at her and continue eating snack while drinking slowly and talk to ourselves about these secretive kingdoms. What Lila knows about Inhumans and Kingdom of Atalan came from me, and even I am not entirely sure of their status. I only knows that Inhumans have their own strength to be on par with X-Men and Avengers. Lila is not very curious about Atalan since it's only a matter of time before she got to know that city of Inhuman, but for now she has to focus first on training and gaining strength and survive from Thanos' fleet invasion. She got curious when I mentioned Atlantis is real. Is Atlantis really like Wakanda? Like they have precious resources like vibranium? I stared directly at her eyes and stated, what is the most obvious, are you drunk? Wakanda only has mountain of metal, but Atlantis has the whole ocean as their backyard, and they can be considered one of the oldest civilization. Their strength and knowledge can be on par with Wakanda. Lila side-eyed and said, TSK, I thought you were going to say that they the same vibranium that Wakanda has. Maybe there is another meteorite of vibranium lost in the bottom of the ocean that is still unearthed or discovered. I responded to her slight disdain with a not impossible information. Do you know how to get to Atlantis or know some people of Atlantis? Are they really a mermaid or half fish half humans, or more like a hybrid? Lila's enthusiasm about fish people fantasize about mermaids and beautiful creatures like the mythology. Sorry to break it to you, but Atlantis are more like humans with different skin colors, and some may have fish scales, or something else that indicates that they have been living under the ocean. I killed off her fantasies while early, as Atlantis people are not all so beautiful like mermaids. They are like other race, black, white, Asian, Mediterranean. Some are beautiful people while there are ugly ones. Lila, oh, the world are changing, meaning it's only a matter of time before they appears on public view. That's why you told this to us, right? You got me. Tony started the era of superhumans going public, and Steve being the first superhuman hero and took the mantle of leading the people with superhuman abilities to make the world a better place. I did not deny, as most of the secretive and hidden people will reveal itself in the near future. Lila confidently nodded her head. I've been with you most of the time, so I know you enjoyed giving spoilers or mentioning something that you know might happen in the future. So now telling us this, meaning there is possibility that the world will usher a new change and order to not get behind with new things happening and chaos constantly following, as long as there are superhumans who do not follow the law. You're right about that, and that's how this universe was created. Maybe chaos, battle, action, adventure and other things that brought tragedy to people is just an entertainment for someone. I need to stop that thought, as someone might heard me. We talked for most of the times while relaxing, as this may be our last time laying in the pool without care. When we are on the deep conversation, Aunt Helen suddenly interjected with her own topic. So you guys can be said to be part of supervigilante, that some government and other newspapers, news companies, and causing chaos and destruction wherever and whenever you invade other countries' borders. Aunt Helen's mild accusations and confirmations is telling us she wants more storytelling. I smirked at her face and nodded to her words. Yeah, so many of them got their face slapped by us by getting rid of their criminals and saving their people from evil organizations or gangs getting arrested. Lila continues, my statements, our priority was to save people, beat bad guys and arrest and stop criminal activity from certain place we got information of. She said that as an Avenger and not as an individual. We don't care about anyone's face of politicians' names or reputations, as we are incognito and vigilante with no proper address and don't belong to any country, so yeah, we move to the shadows, save people and defeat crimes, so you can call our team based on our contribution on face value. I rearranged her words by interpreting it in a softened words. What she means was our team have a responsibility of saving people and making this world a better place, so we might step on someone's foot, push someone's back or shove their faces as long as we achieve our purpose, so some might get angry on us for intervening, but gratefulness of the people we saved is worth it, according to Captain Steve and the others. Lila interjected with her own words as she said we also ransacked their vaults, compensating for our hard work, and some dangerous things are confiscated by the right authorities. You just said it, you mean stealing their properties? Aunt Helen still finished the word that Lila supposed to say. We confiscate it and it's also compensation, and we also share most of it to the victims, so it's a win-win situation and we deserve it. How do you think heroes like us earn money to feed ourselves? Lila and Aunt Helen continued to argue, but they will reach an understanding in a few minutes, so I just watched them. Aunt Helen looked at me a couple of minutes later and questioned, how about you, Kane? You have your own stories to tell us. I smiled at her. Lila already knows most of my backstory, so I'll just not make it long. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 79, Chapter 79. Chapter 79. My parents were a Russian and a Filipino. I've inherited both of their ancestry, so I think I got both of their good genes. I'm sole child, so they spoil me when I'm a kid. Unfortunately, an accident happens and I just end up alone and learn to survive independently. Years goes by and I've been captured or tricked to be a lab experiment. There are many of us experimented to be a superhuman, but only 3 survive, including me. They didn't know I needed the sunlight to awaken my abilities, so I'm almost executed for being a failed subject. I tried escaping, but I am still weak, so ended up capturing me again to be studied. They easily brainwashed me, implanting some languages I learned and technique to become a tool for them. Fortunately, Avengers attacked the base and rescued most of us. While brainwashed, I got to fight Thor, Iron Man and Captain Steve. They noticed my situation and decided to just knock me out, since I look like a young man that have been victim of brainwashing and experiments. While we fought, my powers overloaded erase my brainwashed state while Mr. Stark imprisoned me on an ice coffin. By the way, I slept for a long time in that ice coffin, and when woke up, got dragged to fight an army of evil robots, so I learned what my abilities are. I can absorb solar energy and release through my eyes, and I can fly, and Lila's abilities are light manipulation and conjure things with it, and also teleport to where her light was placed to. Are you satisfied with my story? The rest are history. After that, I fought with the Avengers on the first day of using my full strength while brainwashed and erasing my brainwashed state in the process, so the languages I learned can only be understood but not spoken. Weird, but that's what happened. Aunt Helen, so you are no longer brainwashed, and did you suffer while being experimented? Yeah, apparently. And I did not suffer when being experimented, as there is no torture or every other time being dissected or pumping liquid into our bodies, nothing like that, since I've been cooperative and the scientist did not make it difficult for me. We are now getting up from the pool and walking to the room where shower and change of clothes is stored. Aunt Helen was leading us to get back now to go home, as the night is getting deeper and we need to have dinner. I look around in the room and saw that it's simple and modern looking with no luxury design, as that's what I prefer. The black and wood color theme of the room gave me the feel of simple but luxurious, instead of decorating it fully with all kinds of expensive things. We directly goes to the bathroom, there is 2 bathroom where we can shower and one is for Aunt Helen and the other is going to Lila's turn. I chose to wait them to finish so I get my turn to shower. Getting in with Lila seem inappropriate with Aunt Helen with us, so I just have to be patient. I look around the city at the top of the rooftop. People are still walking around. If the war is really coming, what should be peacefulness now will get disturbed by it. The world only experienced war between Civil War, Cold War, Revolution and World War, but a real extraterrestrial invasion happened in New York because Loki brought the Shi'Tori fleet. The people knows that if not for the Avengers, New York would be gone and nuclear power will radiate around and cause destruction even to cities around it. While the nuclear missile may destroy the building where the portal device mounted to, but it has a shield of its own that an Infinity Stone provides. The missile launch by them is supposed to sacrifice New Yorkers along with the Avengers. That's why I just let Tony do a plan. He has the brain, influenced, connections and reputation to have a word on US government and the United Nations. Thanos' armies will target Vision and Doctor Strange, who have both the Mind Stone and the Time Stone. Hiding them is not a good plan as Infinity Stones can sense each other and Thanos already have the Power Stone. Loki might have the Space Stone, but I hope they escape instead of die fighting. Thor and the others who are aware that Thanos might attack them will give a fight instead of being defeated in a short time because of being caught off guard. I wonder if the timeline is the same as what I watched in the PSD. What if something changes? Gamora had to die for Thanos to get the Soul Stone and the fight with Thanos' army will get divided. Thanos seems to plan already to get the Avengers unassembled and take them down one by one. I just need to fight the battle, no need to lead itself. My thoughts still wandering of being on the sidelines as I have no interest on leading the heroes as I myself did not have the purest purpose of saving. I just follow along the others and fighting is also training for us to get stronger. I feel my power has more potential, the same as Wanda who can use chaos magic to bend reality. Her potential can even be said to be a threat to multiverse, and if Pietro have the power to be fast enough to bend time and space similar to Flash, then his powers meant a serious threat like his sister. Should I test if I can try to absorb energy from Infinity Stones? My brain might go in overload state because the energy from Infinity Stones is different from solar energy and touching it will have the same effect of charging a device with high voltage. Overcharging and it might explode, and I never felt the need to use the full power of overload state. The overload state is the state where I step foot on the other side of the line and the control of my body and sanity only have thin connections. Every time I use overload state, I only walk the other line with the maximum of like 5 steps, but I feel there must be 10 or 20 steps to reach the maximum level of overload state, but let's not try it now. There will be time in the future as long as we're alive. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 80, Chapter 80. Chapter 80. The 2 women have finished taking a shower and already on the kitchen cooking food when I just enter the house. I took a shower for a few minutes and go down the floor to take a look of Krista's study and take her back to eat. We walked to the living room and have a long discussion about her studies and experiments. How are your findings? Have you gained some understanding and grasped the source of my powers through your experiments? What I find was shocking, as you blood assimilate the solar energy whenever it's under the sunlight, but it only works for a short period time, plus the amount of energy it takes is minuscule. Krista still wore her eyeglasses and she looks beautiful with her looks. That is very good looking scientist. So did you gain anything else? I asked when I noticed she keeps fidgeting her fingers in front of me. Just tell me slowly. I already guess that it is about you and you already know so much about me, right? Krista looked directly in my eyes and ready to tell what her thoughts are. Well, I want to tell you that I found something different about me when some accidental damages happened at the lab. Then, I got injured when small explosion that hurt a little, but Krista got interrupted when I suddenly heard her words. Wait, accident. Injured. Explosion. You're hurt. When did this happen and how are you? You seem perfectly fine and dandy right now. I blurted out my sentences as I got worried something might really happen, so I did not immediately think of other possibilities. Well, yeah, I deleted most of the footage as I don't want anyone to know what I'm doing with this genes and DNA, you know. Krista paused for a moment and see that I calmed down a little to continue listening. The explosion happened and then my fingers got burned and one even is gone. Along with that explosion she showed me all her fingers. That is complete. I look down at her foot thinking it's her finger toe that is gone. No, that's not it. She scowled. I think I got something similar to regeneration. My body automatically heals my injuries and even regenerate my finger, and I saw it with my own eyes. I tried to experiment with my body to see more like that, and lo and behold, I think I gained superpowers. She seems calm compared to what she was saying. Look, I will show you the regeneration that works instantly and explain this later. She showed me her palm and cut a wound with some pocket knife she always had. The palm got cut but there is no blood flowing, the wound heals quick and there is not even a scars. Oh, so this is the real reason you can keep up with me. I caress her hands while smirking. My late mother already gave me a clue in the past that in the future my biology will gain a boost that her studies about science and virology could explain. I looked through her papers and what I found was what I'm going to talk about, a lifetime project of my mother and her friend called the Extremis Project. Obviously involves medical breakthroughs because I worked on how this started from both women to a miracle breakthrough in human biology. Can heal almost all diseases and disabilities, including the loss of limbs, cancer, and many more. Her enthusiasm gets fiery as she talks about her mother's and her friend's life work on medicine. Krista is now standing in front of me and some of the presentation is showing in the TV. I guess she's ready to show me and this is the right timing. At first, I watched her intently because she was pretty and charming, but now, they focused on the topic of the presentation instead. This seems very familiar. Are you talking about the your mother is friends with Maya Hansen? My interruption got her interest. Yes, and they work with all their focus and resources until both of them separated for finding other path of breakthroughs, so let me continue. Okay, please. I gesture her to resume. Basically, Extremis is an advanced form of genetic manipulation that my mother and Maya created using the study of virus and nanotechnology that they both developed themselves. It acts like a virus, traveling to your brain to rewire it or some sort. The virus allows your body to regenerate from physical damages, deformities, and, in large doses, even psychological damages, in a short time. My mother continued her studies about virus and extremist projects and Miss Maya chose other paths, so my mother found a long-term solution to this point where I am chosen to be a host of this virus. The only thing was it will took a long time to awaken the virus because of its dormancy. I commented her in case she didn't notice Miss Maya Hansen got Mr. Stark's help to complete the formula of the extremist virus and some guy, a terrorist to be exact, funded her project and used her studies to create and complete the project. What? The project was completed. How and where did you know about this? Krista asked frantically as she is curious about the complete extremist virus. That terrorist have hated Mr. Stark, so he created a extremist group who have been injected with the semi-completed virus. They gained all of its genetic codes along with superhuman physique, fire properties that regenerate the body along with its extreme heat. I pour some drinks to let Krista drink first. But there is a glaring error to that experiment. It is not complete success because the heat and fire properties lessen the lifespan of the person every time they get injuries and regenerated the body. So that's why the world has no news about it and still on confidentiality. How about Miss Maya? Because she got involved with a terrorist who uses her to make a group of biological bombs. She got betrayed because she tried to help Mr. Stark stop that man's madness. Krista looked slightly sad when she heard it. So you are the only person who can complete this project that your mother and Miss Maya started. I encouraged her with words. Is there really no other people who learned this project? The extremist virus seems made for war and it even has the more powers than just being a super soldier. Maybe the military is still studying it, but it's in your mind and body of what your mother's project, so you can continue it to complete success for both your mother and Miss Maya Hansen. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 81, Chapter 81. Chapter 81. I promise I will improve the technology and allow the virus to regenerate physical body that have damages and deformities. Krista's attitude improves when she knows that this project will succeed on her hands. There is no need for the superhuman physique similar to super soldier serum, that will just cause you problems if anyone found out that you can make something like that. Regrowing limbs and healing properties will gain you fame and wealth from all over the world, so it's not worth it if you got targeted by extremists like terrorists and even the government. That's just my warning, as Krista is already aware of the consequences if something similar to super soldier serum got involved with the wrong hands. You showed that you gained the abilities to heal and regrow fingers. Are those all you can do, or you have the same as super soldier physique? I got curious if the virus she had gave her more or same powers than Miss Maya Hansen's extremist virus. I don't know yet, but there is no heat when in the process of regeneration and healing, but maybe in the future, as I guess the virus is still young and needed time to advance and not instantaneous gaining strength. Her guess is probable as it's a long-term project, as her mother chose different from Miss Maya's path. Do you also have something to share? Like new powers and techniques? The topic switched to myself now. I will show you. I released a wisp of golden aura from my palm and proceeded to use optic blast in it. Krista looked intently to my palm as she kept glancing at my eyes, amazed on how lasers coming out. I mean, this look cool and all, but I just focus on my newfound technique. I stopped using my optic blast and clenched my palm. There is no grand explosion or any kinds of heat in my palm. What happened? What does it do? Is that all of it? 3 questions continuously heard from Krista. My new technique involves using my energy to manipulate it onto my palm to absorb extreme energy. Using this, any energy beam or explosion will gather to my palm, absorbed into my body, like providing new energy and not just solar energy. I tested it on electricity and kinetic energy from Wakanda. This technique have been created in New Asgard, and tested it on some Bifrost energy and also using the Wakanda technology as practice when we visited. You mean, that new technique allows you to absorb energy beside from solar and assimilate it in your own use? So, you didn't exactly needed yellow sunlight, but any kind of sun and even energy from other sources. Krista guessed some things, but she's actually right. I never yet tried other suns, but it is not impossible, and for now only my left hand can do that. So I still need practice to allow it throughout my whole body. Instead of breaking right on the spot under the influence of force overload. This seems similar to Carol Danvers aka Captain Marvel, but she has an alien genes and gained powers from space stones, so her circumstances is not far from mine. I gained this powers from the Mind Stone, so having energy absorption isn't rare, as that's how Infinity Stones acquire powerful energy reserves, by absorbing cosmic energy from the universe. Our talking got interrupted as Lila called us to have a dinner as the two women finished cooking the dishes. All kinds of dishes are laid to the table, and of course, as a nation in the past and even half now, rice is great pair of any dish. The bountiful dinner is a happy times, and we talk a lot while eating. There is no need to hold back because we already told what do we do every time we are gone. Most of the talks know is Krista's condition, about her genetics and physique have changed due to her mother's project. Aunt Helen confessed that she knows a little about it when her sister told her some, but kept it a secret until Krista said it herself. Auntie, do you also want to have superhuman abilities? Krista held back to her statements as she is not yet 100% confident that this project will succeed. I mean, I have a plan to continue this project, but I guess we can only use it for private issue, and I'm still on the basic of regeneration, plus, it will take a long time to complete my project. Aunt Helen think about something while chewing and asked, you mean, you can inject a serum and a virus help to rewire the brain to allow the body regeneration physical deformities? Yeah, and this will be a medical breakthrough as medicine that can regrow any limb that lost without any harmful side effects. Krista said slowly. I'm here to talk to you both about something. The three women looked to my direction as Lila just continued to watch our talks. You both also need to be ready and prepared because an alien army will invade again soon, and Mr. Stark is already planning to talk to the government on how to get people not to cause too much panic. Alien invasion. Like, several years ago at the Manhattan where got invaded by flying giant bugs and robotic aliens. Aunt Helen panicked a little before asking. I stared at her and said straightforwardly yes. But those aliens are just as subordinates of someone who will attack soon, so preparation is needed in case a battle reach the metro city where people are living, but we will focus the fight on somewhere desolate so the war won't affect normal people. I'm telling you both this so to decrease your panic and stress in case you won't find us. You can also warn your friends and colleagues close to you to prepare. I shifted my sight to Lila as I asked Lila, how far can you travel in distance in case there is an emergency? Last time I checked on my recent solo mission was I've traveled from Paris to London when I tracked a son of politician involved in trafficking. Lila replied. How about the duration of time your light can stay formed? For now, I've got 3 knife light hidden to some corner in the continent and they've been there for almost a month. But the longer the duration needed, the less fragments are possible, lest I add more light fragments, but the time duration will decrease by more than half. Lila proudly said. That much improvement. Last time I thought you only improve on your weapon manipulation. Surely you will soon have the title of fastest women alive in the world. Even talking about distance, I'm amazed by her improvement, but since she's seldom with me and she enjoyed doing solo mission to practice, it is still astonishing. Yep, just gave her loads of compliments. Lila only smiled a little to hide her real thoughts, but I know she's happy about my compliments as I taught her at the beginning, and as my disciple, her thoughts are easy to read, just showing our closeness. Aunt Helen and Krista just looked at us wondering what just happened, as earlier I just warned them about alien invasion and now I'm complimenting Lila. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 82, Chapter 82. Chapter 82. Deep into the night, we got to our own room to rest after some late night exercise. I stayed with Krista this night to spend time with her as I am away for almost every night. In the past, Krista's is just slowly getting stronger by being used to the extremist's virus, but now she awakened the first step, her stamina and energy doubled than last time. We might not even need to take a break until past midnight, but we stopped so we can have wonderful rest. The next morning, news about aliens and anything related to being prepared about any disaster have been discussed by most morning news. The message is already out. There was nothing about them personally fighting, but there is a little way to tell that preparation is a must. This must be Mr. Stark's or Stark Industries' influence, as even other country have the message. I just hope that the battle won't happen at the middle of a metropolitan city. Thanos' target is the Infinity Stones, so Vision and Doctor Strange will be priority. Vision have been in contact with Captain Steve and Tony in case he got ambushed suddenly. Doctor Strange is still the Sorcerer Supreme, so he has the responsibility to protect the world from mystic beings that desire to invade the Earth. The S.H.I.E.L.D. have been informed by Nick Fury is still not responding if Captain Marvel already is on her way. I have no idea what happened to Thor and Hulk. I hope they survive or even kill one of the generals to reduce the opponents in case they decide to flatten Earth. This Infinity War will be different. I hope, because I already done my best to inform everyone about Thanos, and heroes of the Earth will be ready for this war. My paranoia has came back. I thought since I've gained superhuman abilities, I will always have confidence, but now that a mad titan who have been known as Mad Conqueror of Galaxies decide to invade a little planet. It's very different being an observer and a participant, specifically since we're talking about a war. My mind is still young and my experience is only short time, unlike most veteran heroes who have blood on their hands and experience serious battles. The only serious battle I've had was with Caecilius. Even using my full power for one serious punch, I've only gained a not so big advantage. With Caecilius having the dark dimension as his source, he can heal infinitely in theory, and I'm confident that Doctor Strange will come to our rescue. Most of the battles with criminals and Hydra was not very life-threatening and can even be considered training. I hope to meet the Eternals to ask for help if I want training, since they've been good to humans and lived for thousands of years. Lila blinked beside me as she talked. Daredevil and the others have already been informed by me, so they are aware of some alien again wanting to attack the planet and not just the New York. Good, we just need to wait for signal. Captain Steve and the others should have already done preparation, and Mr. Stark have been in contact with Vision recently, so the dice is not on our hands, it's with Thor. My teeth clenched again as I thought about Thor forging Stormbreaker. I'm lying if I said I'm not jealous. Iron Man has his own sleek and cool Mark L, and even Captain Steve should have upgraded shields, with Bucky having a new Wakanda technology vibranium arm. Now Thor should forged his personal weapon to kill Thanos, but that's just in case he failed his current battle. While myself, weaponless, but my whole body is my weapon, I'm ready to duel Thanos as long as he doesn't have all the Infinity Stones. The days are spent with Aunt Helen and Krista, as the responsibility of preparing the world is for Tony, so spending time with Krista as a family will always be worth my time. On one night, Krista even surprised me with a very good news, as she told that her body was on time to be ready for pregnancy. I remember her telling me that something is wrong with her body, so pregnancy might be difficult, but now the extremists virus have already awakened. Her body is now erased of physical and genetic defect, like a variant version of super soldier serum. But now is not the right time for pregnancy, I said. We're still young and time is on our side until this mad titan is gone. In the past few days, the world is not so calm before the storm, but War Machine with Vision, roaming the world stopping any international conflict. Pietro and Wanda also have their own place to do. Pietro is on African border as he fought pirates and illegal international criminals, as he just abolished a recent crimes about modern slavery that an African warlord is profiting from. Pietro don't have the tendency to kill when angry, but he copied my way as he cripple the African warlord till he's aware he will spend the rest of his life on deathbed. Wanda on the other hand is staying on Hong Kong Sanctuary to defend that place as well as battle mystical creatures that some members Dark Church brought through some sacrifice. Her controls of her powers have significant impact on the way she used chaos magic to bend reality. She has to be the next in line supreme sorcerer in case Doctor Strange step down. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 83, Chapter 83. Chapter 83. And lo and behold, the D-Day has come, Bifrost Energy or Rainbow Bridge strike on the New York City. Not long after, Tony contacted me that Bruce Banner came back to Earth alone. I refrained from flying as it's still daylight. Lila teleported us both where the address of New York Sanctuary is. I've instructed Lila to leave some light fragment here days ago in case something like this happen. When we got inside, we saw Mr. Stark talking with Bruce while Doctor Strange and Wong is standing on the side. We greeted them and Bruce asked us confused, "Who are these guys? Are you the new Avengers? You don't wear clothes like these guys, by the way they are called sorcerers." Talkative Bruce is very in contrast with always angry Hulk, so he kept talking until I interrupted. "Mr. Bruce Banner, it's me Kane, I'm the one you all brought when Vision is just born and to fight Ultron at Sokovia. I even have your autograph." The autograph by the way have been destroyed during my fight with Caecilius but got brought back by Doctor Strange and I refrained from bringing it again with me. Bruce stared at my face and said, "Oh, you're the kid we saved from Hydra. I remember you fought with Thor and Tony with Steve before you got knocked down to a ice coffin. And this is?" Bruce asked about Lila. "This is Lila, my disciple, and we're part of Avengers with Captain Steve. They are probably in Wakanda right now." Doctor Strange: "Okay, you are done introducing yourself, now let's get to the topic. Mr. Banner, can you please tell us the news?" Bruce: "Thanos. He is coming for all the Infinity Stones. We fought for a long time at the ship and even crashed to some moon in the space, but we don't have a chance." Bruce seemed aware of what's happening even if he transformed into Hulk. "The battle is intense. Thanos told us, he already had the Infinity Gauntlet mounted to it was one Infinity Gem, the Power Stone. Thor without his hammer is not as powerful and Loki's tricks don't work on pure power of Thanos. We are defeated unsurprisingly. The last time I saw them was they are all critically injured. Heimdall used the Bifrost power to send me back to warn you all and..." Bruce seemed to remember the battle where all of them are defeated by Thanos and his generals, and even with Thor's power only damages severely Thanos' fleet. Thor's lightning damages Thanos' spaceship to buy me time to reach here and prepare for war. The hall was silent for a couple of seconds and Tony asked Thanos, "Mad Titan, why does he need to collect all Infinity Stones? What other information do we have on this?" Doctor Strange looked on my direction and I just shrugged as even I don't know everything or most things about Infinity Stones. I looked at Wong and Wong stepped forward to explain what are Infinity Stones. Wong waved his hands to create an illusion while explaining the dawn of the universe created 6 elemental crystals hurling across the universe. These Infinity Stones each control an essential aspect of existence. The Space Stone, Reality Stone, Power Stone, Soul Stone, Mind Stone and pointed to Strange's chest Time Stone. The hall showed us 6 beautiful lights coming from each different Infinity Stones from the projection. Bruce started to hysterical conversation with Tony. "Thanos sent Loki on the Battle of New York. That's him, and he already got the Power Stone and Space Stone attached to his Infinity Gauntlet. He attacked our ship because he is certain Space Stone is on our ship." Tony, how much time do we have? Tony glanced at me before replying to Bruce. Kane already warned us about Thanos and the world is on preparation. Can you estimate how strong is he and his fleets? Tony directed his question to Bruce, who have experience fighting Thanos. Bruce, he is already considered the strongest creature, as even with Thor and Hulk with Loki and Heimdall cannot defeat him in frontal battle when he just have one Infinity Stone. His fleet is known to galaxies as conquering Mad Titan, and he with his generals have the habit of killing half-life of a planet. Tony sat on a wooden stool thinking deeply. Bruce, we need the Avengers, where are the rest? Tony said while looking in my direction. It's complicated. It's my turn to speak. The governments and UN are forcing people with superhuman abilities to their banner, so Avengers split with Tony and Steve team. Bruce split. The government split the Avengers by 2 teams and you agreed to this, Tony. Tony rolled his eyes on him. Oh please, remember when Ultron flew an entire city and our fight in Africa? The last straw was the explosion during last one of the missions that Avengers faulted because there is a suicidal bomber. Tony, so why don't you call him now? Thanos is coming and we need all of us. Thor already fought with his life. It's our time now to defend this planet and defeat Thanos, and we need all hands aboard. Bruce's voice softened the more he says. Tony still has a complicated face when he remembered that last confrontation with Captain Steve that broke their friendship. Tony grabbed on his pocket to take out an old cell phone. The captain and the others have already on their way to prepare in Wakanda. They just contacted Vision now as I informed them of Mr. Bruce's arrival. Lila is quiet through the whole talks as she is already informing Steve of Bruce's arrival. I sighed thumbs up to Lila as what she'd done was good. All of us just prepare to speak when a panic sound of people heard from outside. The screaming continues as we got out to look what is happening. People running away as an spaceship is coming down on the street where Sanctuary is. Tony helps people who got stumbled and also look at the donut-shaped spaceship that creates dust storm around. Doctor Strange waved his hands upward to push all dust upward to clear the street of its dirt particles. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 84, Chapter 84. Chapter 84. I spoke to Lila, transfer all civilians outside of this area, be quick as battle might ensue in the middle of the city. Lila blinked faster around this area to take out all the civilians hiding in their cars and houses to transport them away to the dangerous place. Doctor Strange, can you transport the opponents with you, sparking portal in a place where no civilians and avoid damaging the city? I asked curiously, as maybe it is possible. Doctor Strange looked at me and said the use of that portal requires extreme focus and an opponent may evade it if they are fast enough. Blue light beam came down from the donut spaceship to the ground and 2 aliens came down with it. Hear me and rejoice, you are about to die in the hands of the children of Thanos. Be thankful that your meaningless lives are now contributed. An alien who looks like a grey humanoid with no nose spoke arrogant words that Tony interrupted. Earth is closed today, so you better pack it up and get out of here. The noseless grey alien twitched his face by Tony's interruptions, and beside him was a giant alien bigger than Hulk with a pickaxe weapon. Stonekeeper, does this chattering animal spoke for yourself? The grey alien spoke to Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange, conjure spells ready for battle. Certainly not speaking for myself, you're trespassing in this city and on this planet. Wong got ready for battle while Tony again spoke with his next insult. That means, get lost, Squidward. The grey alien looked at all his opponents and waved his hands to the spaceship. Obsidian Cull, exhaust them, the plan is to get the stone. The giant alien stomped forward with his huge pickaxe. Tony tapped Bruce. That's the thing, Bruce, it's good to have you, buddy, this is the right time. Bruce grunted and groaned, but no, Hulk is awaking. Tony glanced at Bruce and said, dude, you're embarrassing me from the wizard. I can't, Hulk won't come out. Okay, let us handle this. He looked at Wong and asked, can you please guard him, thanks. Bruce got sent away with one portal. Tony looked at me. You can take that guy now, Kane. I'll take that big guy away, but promise me don't underestimate that alien. He has a powerful mind, and beware of that Fonut spaceship. I tap my chest and my battle clothes reform its original look. The battlesuit formed a black battlesuit with golden lines and amber-colored patterns. I levitate a little to prepare my offense to Obsidian Cull. I used Optic Blast to Obsidian's direction. I coated my fist with golden aura to reinforce like a gauntlet. As soon I blasted him, his pickaxe and my gauntlet fist create contact, blasting cars and roadside around us. I kept using my Optic Blast to irritate him. As the longer period I used it, incinerating this guy's skin will be easier to defeat him. Lights kept flickering as my battle with Cull intensified. As the rest watched our brawl, my battlesuit helped me with fighting and providing defense and mobility. But Cull's armor is harder to penetrate as his armor have surely high melting point. I timed his attack and grabbed his huge fist as it's coming to my head. Rotating my body along with Cull, then throwing him upward to avoid more damages in case people is still hiding in their homes. Cull used his weapon like a hook, but I arranged my body to where it might land and punch it also, then flew high to take Cull away from this city. Doctor Strange, Wong and Tony watched me take the giant alien in the sky. The grey alien looked at Cull getting brought away as he waved his hand again, and cannons and space guns mounted on the Donut spaceship ready to fire on their way. Tony pulled something on his jacket to fit it on his body, then tap his chest and nanotech revealed itself from the arc reactor, forming the Mark L Iron Man armor. Tony walked to the grey alien as he creates weapons to battle the spaceship's firepower. Doctor Strange and Wong team up to take on the grey alien as they both produce spells to attack the grey alien. The grey alien snorted and used telekinesis to control rubbles and stones to sharpen it, then to throw it at the sorcerers. The sharp stones and cement didn't work as Portal appeared and he received his own attacks. The grey alien's face is full of irritation with different spells and sorcery kept appearing as they battle on the street. It got to the point as tornado and gigantic stones fly to the sky and go down while creating earthquakes, and most houses are already destroyed due to battle as the grey alien used everything around him as a weapon. Doctor Strange with Wong's assistance allowed them to battle at closed combat, but the way the grey alien fight is unpredictable as he use only his thoughts to move things and himself as the battle progresses. Helicopter and drones recorded the battle as Iron Man destroyed every cannons and guns mounted to Donut spaceship. The battle got intense as all heroes and opponents are in the sky releasing attacks and beams, huge shields and stones blasting everywhere as mayhem resume and people scream in panic. Spider-Man and Lila focuses on saving civilians as people who want to watch or record the fight stayed risking their life. The two work harder, and even Lila had to get heavy-handed to some stubborn people who have death wish. The fight intensified as Spider-Man joined Doctor Strange to fight the grey alien while Wong focus on bring people to safety as his spells can shield from ruins and buildings demolished. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 85, Chapter 85. Chapter 85. The fight with me and Cull got intense, more so compared to earlier. My punches is all mounted with gauntlet fist and energy inside me circulates to the fullest. Cull's strength is very similar to Giant's, the way he fought is not barbaric, as he used some skills and he's experienced in war and fighting than I am. I am learning while battling him, and he can't grasp my weakness, as I kept my distance every time I saw his threatening offensive attack, especially that weapon. The weapon is maybe an artifact from the past from different planet. No matter how he uses it, one time I almost got hit in the head by that pickaxe, but I evaded on time and just scratched my shoulder. Even now the scratch is still healing slowly. The way Cull used his strength along with his size, as he used it to his advantage of pummeling me to the ground every time I got under him. It's fortunate I can stay flying and use optic blast. But the way I fight will not exhaust Cull, as this guy have the bloodline of dwarf. He may be huge compared to humans, but an alien dwarf can reach to dozen meters high. The battle got intense as the hot-blooded Cull vigorously waved his weapon with chains that hit me a few times now. The place around us was devastated. I got up and saw Cull running towards me, and I used my optic blast, but he just repelled it with his shield and hit me with my own attack. The ground raised as my use of optic blast kept ravaging Cull and the environment. I decided to circulate the solar energy inside me to reinforce my body and multiply my strength. As I got into my battle stance, Cull also take me seriously, as this battle must create a victory and winner take it all. My fastest speed blur my silhouette, and after image produced by my speed creates an advantage as I pummel Cull to the face and used short-ranged optic blast. Cull grabbed my arm and, throwing me away at the same time, lobbed his pickaxe to my direction, and I crossed my arms in front of me as the weapon sent me farther away. I got up, flying them, launched myself to Cull, and fist-to-fist generate a blasting effect. My golden gauntlet cracked and the force break Cull's elbow. Cull snorted and grabbed his arm to recommect the bones. The cracking sound prompted me to use my optic blast, while Cull is left with only one hand. He blocked my optic blast but also blocked his vision. I hurl a huge stone at him, and that creates me a way to target his weakness. I ducked at the bottom of the boulder while Cull waved his pickaxe to destroy the boulder. I used my precious couple of seconds to generate a powerful concentrated golden aura to my remaining gauntlet to punch Cull's knee. I once read that big and strong people have a glaring weakness to their lower body and bringing down the opponent to his knees. I am already halfway. Cull groaned hard as his knees dislocated, and some even bone fragments on his knees will give him a hard time healing it. I used the remaining power on my hand to punch the end of the chains where his weapon is tied. The punch exploded and blasted the chains. I stole his pickaxe and hurled it to Cull. Cull defended with the remaining shield with his hand. The way I used the pickaxe is crude and wrong, because I flung him out like hammering him. Cull got up limping and his elbow already useful again, so he jumped towards me while I flew to meet him midair, and I waved the pickaxe while he used the shield. The pickaxe slid through the shield and he resumed grabbing my neck and grapple it while I struggle. The solar energy I absorb is for this kind of situation, releasing aura outside my body and then absorb it on my right fist. The glow created an unimaginable power that even Cull doubted if he can survive if it hit. His mentality is I probably would choose to punch him, so he got his shield ready in case he needs to sacrifice one hand to kill his opponent. That's where he got it wrong. The radiance and heat incinerated the ground around us as his grip around my neck tightened. The brilliance even blinded Cull for a second, and I take the chance to grip his arm that used to choke my neck. The energy traveled inside Cull's arms to the bone and trail to the reach of his shoulders. Sitting. The bones, flesh, muscles, and skin are incinerated by the heat my palm produce. The energy took his whole arm, reaching to his shoulder, and almost Cull's neck are carbonized. There is no chance of regeneration, and weakness came to Cull's body as he stepped back and looked at me standing up. My eyes are still glowing and I used my last trump card, overload state. The overload state didn't eat my sanity as I only took one step over that line, so my sanity is only blurry a little, but my control allows me to feel energy circulating around my whole body, then focus on where my eyes is. The solar energy is still going on without stopping and I look at Cull's weakened state. I launched myself to float above him and used optic blast that shattered his shield and burned his remaining arm. Using my full strength to charge at him, then without remorse striking his body with blitz punches that took a minute to get done with my onslaught. Cull, with 2 limbs gone, broken and fragmented bones on the knee with severe chest injuries, will not regain any consciousness for a short time. I sat down on a piece of boulder while in a weakened state and called Lila. How is the situation there? Lila, it's not yet determined as the battle is on the climax right now. Lila still is saving civilians along with Wong and the agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. as live footage of the battle is watched all over the world. The people recording the fight have already been stopped, so it will take only a few minutes before the grey alien is defeated. How about you? Are you all right there? Is your opponent still alive? I can support you, just say it. Don't worry about me, I'm done pummeling this big alien, and yeah, he's still alive but barely. I replied to Lila's inquiry. To the battle in the middle of the city. Doctor Strange is battling alone with Ebony Maw. The two introduced themselves in the middle of the fight. Spider-Man chose to prioritize civilians as he can't fly and not a single building are okay as devastation happened to this street. Ebony Maw saw that he is on the verge of defeat, so he chose activate self-destruction of the spaceship to explode it along with Doctor Strange and the others, blasting this city to smithereens. Ebony Maw, this place should be grateful to have children of Thanos be its grave along with his words, is tapping on his arm to initiate self-destruction of the Donut spaceship. Doctor Strange floated and conjured a spell that will utilize the use of Time Stone to manipulate time around here. Ebony Maw smirks seeing Doctor Strange lowering his guard, thinking that he will really kill himself with self-destruction. Ebony Maw took the chance to blast Doctor Strange to concrete and manipulate the stones and metals to imprison him without any movements, and even his mouth and eyes are covered. Ebony Maw grabbed the Eye of Agamotto, but it burned his palm instead, so he made a quick decision to take Doctor Strange to Thanos to torture him to get the Time Stone. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 86. Chapter 86. Chapter 86. With Doctor Strange getting caught, Spider-Man goes to rescue him while contacting Mr. Stark. Peter, Mr. Stark, the wizard is caught and I'm saving him now. Tony, come back kid, let me handle this. Go and help rescue civilians and stay on the ground. Friday send 17:00. Peter, Mr. Stark, I got him, wait. Tony's voice are very concerned as Peter suddenly worried him. Kid. Peter, are you okay? Tony have been dealing with cannons and infiltrated inside the space donut, and most of the weapons got destroyed, with only few hidden weapons are still okay but not in use. When he heard Peter shouting, he flew outside of the space donut just to see Ebony Maw flying with Doctor Strange imprisoned on some stones and wrapped in iron bars with only his nose to breath is noticeable. The two disappeared with the blue beam and the space donut ascended fast to travel out in space to leave with Doctor Strange and Time Stone. Tony kid, where are you? Peter, I'm saving the wizard. Let go, the space donut is leaving. You said save the wizard, holy shit, it's so high. I can't breathe, the air is thin here. Kid, just let go, I will catch you. Yeah, all right. Peter let go, but a flying rocket-size metal flew to intercept Peter's descent. The metallic shine of the new armor gave him a new look, as it is called Iron Spider. The eye of the suit detected the altitude of the suit, so it creates a parachute for safe landing. Peter's stubbornness and starving attitude for adventure still won as he clung onto the space donut. Tony's Iron Man Mark L creates a boost to fly faster that reach more than Mach 10 to board the space donut and save the wizard along with Time Stone. Tony have no idea that Peter is with him, also secretly boarding the space donut. Lila told me what transpired at the end of the battle as the situation reversed, and the same thing still happened even with my intervention. Lila asked I can teleport there, and saved them, but they are getting farther and farther. No, don't follow them, they can take care of themselves, I just hope they come back alive. I didn't let Lila follow as I noticed that something is different from what my memories entails. In my memories, Thanos' generals didn't show great strength and tactical skills, they got solved in a pretty easy way. Is it because the effort and cost of CGI? The way Thanos' generals fought showed that they are deserving of being subordinates of a mad conqueror titan no to galaxies. The fight should not take too much effort. Is it because of my intervention that something like prolonged battle happened, that's why this devastation happened, or something else? I thought about many things that most likely to happen. The battle might be more all around if I didn't take Cull away, but the space donut attacking randomly didn't happen in the memory from a movie I've watched from my previous life. I shouldn't base everything on that, but there is possibility that Thanos and his generals should have more detailed fighting ability. If they got defeated because of simple fights and ambushes, that seems to say that their reputation being conqueror is exaggerated. I flew to Lila's location with Cull's broken body as my energy is recovering from the fight I just finished. No matter what king of fatigue or stamina depletion, just circulating the solar energy I absorb will help myself on its own. I have no idea what to do with Cull's body. I flew down beside Lila just to see how much damages the battle caused to this street. It is fortunate that most fighting happens while flying, so damages are reduced with only rooftop and other upper floors are bare due to how Ebony Moore's way of fighting. I saw Wong at the door of the sanctuary and I gave him Cull's body as I trusted them more than other people. Wong, can you please take care of this guy? He's barely alive, so you can do whatever you want to him. Wong nodded and conjured a portal and I dumped Cull there and the portal close. Bruce walked towards us with dirty clothes as he just helped people to get treated for minor injuries. It is very fortunate no one died on this ordeal as Lila made a timely rescue for those nearest and Spider-Man along with S.H.I.E.L.D. agents help clear the perimeter. The record only recently showed that the space donut left because of Iron Man and Spider-Man's contribution of defending the Earth along with the wizard who fought the alien. No one saw our faces as both Tony and Peter have helmet, nevertheless Tony is famous for being Iron Man. While I and Lila wear our face mask to hide our faces, but silhouette of us fighting a giant alien and saving civilians gained us famed instantly on our show of prowess and fighting alongside powerful heroes. The S.H.I.E.L.D. agent walked towards us and questioned with interrogating attitude, where is the giant alien? Did it escape? Is there a chance it will cause continuous threat to this planet? If you have defeated the alien, please provide us that specimen, as only S.H.I.E.L.D. have the responsibility to take everything related to extraterrestrial subjects. Whoa there, slow down. I already the problem of that big guy, so no need to worry about it being a threat anymore. You can continue doing your job and we have somewhere to go, so this is a goodbye. I explained that to him as Lila and Bruce prepared to move with me, but the agents stopped us from leaving. Please remain here until the investigation is done that no other extraterrestrial exists to threaten this planet. and we also know you being watched by international police." The agents smirked at us, thinking we will just stand there and comply because they belong to SHIELD, which is the highest authority right now. My eyes glowed golden lights and heat directly felt by those around, and I declared, "The big guy is already incinerated into carbonize, so his existence is erased except for ashes he left behind. And we will leave if we want to." The agents got ready to draw their weapons from their holsters, but Lila already teleported beside me and manipulated several light daggers to point at these agents' forehead. Sweating and shaking, the agents still back down, thinking we are soft just because we help civilians is their judgment mistake. Lila retrieved the light daggers and conjure a white platform for Bruce to stand or sit on. We flew to the way to Wakanda to regroup with Captain Steve and the others. The agents watched us left while flying and look around, seeing that most buildings are intact and some people even started cleaning. They confronted the people who can conjure light weapons and a guy who defeated the strong huge alien, even bigger than the monster Hulk. "Go, provide help to civilians and prioritize if there are any radioactive materials left by those aliens." The agent who lead the group shouted to everyone to resume their work after a small episode. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 87, Chapter 87. Chapter 87. Tony already contacted Pepper Potts to provide financial and practical support to the people living on this street so many employees of Stark Tech Industries show up to the accident where the battle happens. Many news reports are busy reporting to the world what happened today was an indication that aliens are real and they already found planet Earth and want to invade it again. Every country's reporters occupied the news as all over the world. Recording of the battles amazed people sitting on their home watching spells and beams creating strong winds and fiery explosion is more entertaining than watching a movie. Today's topic and news showed the heroes who repelled the alien invasion, including Iron Man, Spider-Man, 2 wizards, a girl with white coat transporting people away from danger, and a man who wore dark and gold battlesuit fought with the giant alien and brought him away to avoid ruining more properties. Even though there is not much information about the white flashing woman and the dark-clothed man for normal people. But those with certain status knows the identity of the two. They are PRT of Incognito Vigilante who work with former Captain America but now on hiding and invading other countries' borders. The whole world receive an earth-shaking news as both Spider-Man and Iron Man left the planet and boarded the Space Donut. Many people heard the sad news, but there are also some people who have optimistic attitude to those two who sacrificed their lives to protect the world, and it is still not certain whether they are dead or alive and will come back. The future. The military and SHIELD are busy in case there is a second and third times that aliens will come back. Wakanda also joined on telling news about helping and providing support in case alien invasion might really happen, and warned the other countries not to easily use nuclear weapons. Only preparation is currently being focused on since there is no information when and where aliens might attack. The UN contacted the Avengers through Secretary Ross, and Rhodey is now the second in command as Tony is currently off-world. Rhodey contacted Steve and the others as Avengers needed to form, and even without the government calling them, they still has the responsibility to defend this planet. We met halfway in the air as Captain Steve rerouted to our way and we boarded the Quinjet. We are on the way to Rhodey's place, the former building of Avengers headquarters. Natasha and Bruce just awkwardly talk as they didn't see each other for few years, and Bruce is still awkward talking to women. When Captain is on the way to get Vision, there is news about New York being attacked by aliens and made a devastating battle with the wizards along with Iron Man and Spider-Man. They immediately got on the Quinjet to support Tony and the others in case there are more coming. But when I contacted them on the way, Lila already summarized what had happened, so the rest rerouted to our direction to get us. Now that all of us are assembled, Wanda and Pietro are already on their way to the headquarters and met us on the air with the help of portal from a sorcerer. Captain Steve planned to go to Wakanda to ask for their help to protect the Mind Stone and fight Thanos' fleet on a location where normal people won't get affected. The dice are on our hands, so we choose where to position the Mind Stone. Currently, the most powerful individual among us were me, Vision and Wanda, so we have been chosen to protect the Mind Stone in case Thanos' army come full strength. Wanda and I have connections to Mind Stone the same as Vision, but it is preferable to let Vision continue keeping the stone. Wanda has her chaos magic to bend reality, Vision have vibranium body as well as ability to phase through anyone and anything. While I on the other hand is the main warrior to confront anyone who will attack Vision to get the Mind Stone. The danger is coming and Bruce is still struggling convincing Hulk to come out. Bruce have been depressed since Hulk lost to Thanos in one-on-one battle and now refused to come out when he is needed the most. Natasha has to console him, but Bruce being nerd freak still awkward to women, especially the beautiful spy, Natasha. On the front lawn of the Avengers headquarters, Rhodey is already standing without the War Machine armor. Ross, I should arrest you all right now, but it's great to see you, Cap. Good to see you too, Rhodey. Captain is the leader, so he first greeted Rhodey, even though we seldom meet during encounters in missions, but refrained from having to talk except for Natasha, who have been close to Rhodey since. They shared a hug and greeted each other, showing their friendship. Rhodey looked at us and praised the team seem to be flourishing. Last time I checked there are few young people, but now, seeing you guys being part of the team enlightened me and this headquarters. The last time young people of Avengers only consist of me, Wanda, and Pietro. Spider-Man if counted. But now Lila and Nora have been recruited and Rhodey even met Daredevil and the others on one mission. That's why he praised that new members of Avengers are flourishing. Come inside, the council and government officials are having a meeting inside. They are arguing for hours now as most of them chose prioritize their own skin. The military are on combat ready, and with you guys being here will silence their voices. Rhodey is having a headache by those selfish people as he confronted them, since only he have the way to contact Captain Rogers and the rest of the Avengers. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 88, Chapter 88. Chapter 88. Inside of the headquarters was a desolation. People and former employees were recruited to other departments since the main component of the Avengers have split. Tony decided to leave the headquarters as it is, as he believed that this place would still be useful in the future. We walk through the hall, then reach the destination shortly after, where holograms of people gather in circular view to talk to each other. Most of the contents was how many soldiers and jets will be provided for each country. Many are reluctant to give so much since defending their own backyard or nation is also on their mind. Sending soldiers and jets to fight first will only earn them short-time glory, but those who have reserves will have more chance to survive and protect their places. A minute of hearing them arguing non-stop, they still didn't notice is our arrival. Rhodey has to inform Secretary Ross that Captain Rogers is here on the headquarters. Secretary Ross walked in his hologram form as he muted the meeting to silence them and look at Captain Roger and the others. Ross has his own way of getting things done with his people, so listening to some politicians' banter doesn't change his ways. He is a military general, so people in the army still has his own influence. His team now are focusing on finding Vision and other criminals. Ross, you stole a Quinjet, invade other countries' borders. Your name have been named as criminals on international level. Give us Vision and we will not pursue you anymore. Rhodey said his piece before Steve speak. They are only criminals because you guys force them. If you didn't choose to create the Accords, the Earth will still have its defenders in the light instead of hiding. Ross, you guys are deemed dangerous for not having limitations and with no regards for international authority. The Accords are there to limit the power of superhumans in a situation where they chose life of crime. Rhodey, and didn't that what really happened when you force someone to sign the Accords where they are chose to side with being governments too? Steve interrupted Rhodey before he finished his statements. Rhodey closed his mouth but still glare at Secretary Ross. Secretary Ross is still look unfazed but directed his attention to Rogers and Vision beside him. Steve focused at Secretary Ross and greeted Secretary Ross. Ross, you guys have the nerve, stealing Quinjet and taking Vision, then come back to this place. Natasha glanced at the holograms of people still muted but their expressions of arguing still resume and then said expressionlessly, you guys might need that right now. Ross ignored her comment and still scanned Captain Rogers. The world is on fire right now and you think because you can come back here, all your crimes are forgiven. Steve said full of seriousness, I've never regret anything I've done and I'm way past of asking for permission. Earth lost your best defender, so we are here to fight. If you choose to stand on our way, we'll fight you too. Steve's voice are full of seriousness and I'm even tempted to record this scene, but Lila elbowed me before I pressed my mask, which has a button to record what the camera capture. Ross contemplated Steve's serious words and looked at Rhodey. Arrest them all. Ross' voice is soft like almost a whisper. No matter what, he is still the Secretary of Defense, so giving orders on arresting criminals is his job. The world needed the Avengers, so he gave orders and Rhodey get the message from him and remove his hologram along with all the others. Now that the place are quiet and serene, Rhodey observed us and can't help commenting, you guys all look like crap, must have been a rough couple of years. Sam, yeah. We just finished a fight and we've not been visiting 5-star hotels often. Rhodey noticed that Bruce at the back typing on the computer, seemingly finding something. Bruce, long time no see man, how have you been? I heard you're with Tony but didn't seen you fight. Bruce smiled to Rhodey weakly as he replied, nice to see you too, Rhodey. There is some complications and I can't transform into Hulk as he refused to come out. Refuse? How's that possible? You've been missing for couple of years and Hulk is a great asset for this war right now. Yeah, that's why I look for this. Tony and I designed this in case Hulk and I had another complications, but I didn't think this is the way this is going to be used. Bruce turned the computer to our way to show the screen where a Hulkbuster armor are being sent on this location. Bruce, the Hulkbuster armor is something Tony and I designed, so I'll just need to suit this up in exchange for Hulk. Natasha, that is wonderful, Bruce. Sam, are you sure you can pilot this thing? It seems you have never tried using it. Bruce, there is an AI built to assist the person wearing this, so all I need is to give command and instruction and it probably not too complicated. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 89, Chapter 89. Chapter 89. Steve, well, since you and Tony are the one who designed that, the mechanism should be familiar to you. As long as it is commanded, it will be a big help in the upcoming fight. Rhodey glanced at us and saw me and Lila standing not far away, so he walked to us and asked Kane. Lila, I heard you are with Tony when the battle happened at New York. I replied, yeah, the big guy named Cull have been resolved and his body is given to the sorcerers where they can imprison him in more secure places. Rhodey asked what he is really concerned about. Do you have any idea where Tony and the wizard might go? Is there a chance they will come back? I looked at him and sighed while the others also waited for my reply. Sigh. My guess was that they will choose to bring the fight to Thanos instead. It's been more than a couple of hours and they didn't come back. Doctor Strange have a spell to make a portal wherever he is, so there is a chance they will come back if they succeed on rescuing Doctor Strange from Ebony Maw. Rhodey, I heard from Tony that there is really a guy who knows sorcery, but I've never met him. Do you have any information that can help us? I shook my head and said no, I already told all I know, but Thanos is very smart, so he might predict whatever we're going to do. Since our main priority is the Infinity Stones and that's what he is coming for no matter what and how many he sacrifice. He has the stubbornness and obsession to kill half-life of population of planets he conquered. Rhodey nodded and asked Captain Steve, Cap, do we have a plan? Steve nodded and looked at all of us. We have a place to go and they have the power to defend this world. Suit up and get all your things ready and proceed to Quinjet. The team moved and take all of their things. Bruce and Rhodey readied their armor, while Sam and Natasha get to Quinjet with Steve, while the Maximoff twins with Vision talk to each other about the Mind Stone if ever Thanos is near. Nora and Lila came with me and we prepare to board the Quinjet. The inside is cramped a little because our numbers added a few new passengers. Vision and I and Rhodey chose to fly on our own beside the Quinjet. Lila is inside to conserve energy and Sam Wilson Wings is not for long distances flight but flexibility and speed. Natasha piloted the Quinjet to Africa and then flew to the forest as Bruce stared wide-eyed looking at the city, or specifically Kingdom of Wakanda. We're not barging through as we've already been here several times, while Rhodey just followed with us. The palace is on the middle top of the mountain, so we landed there where the royal family of Wakanda waited. T'Challa and Shuri greeted us and nodded to Vision. Steve and Bucky hug each other when they met at last, since Bucky had to be iced to rehabilitate him on the outskirts of the city. He got new vibranium arms since his last one got blasted to pieces by Iron Man on the last fight. The Dora Milaje stood straight beside the royal family and Natasha nodded to them, while they smiled back. The most unexpected person on this was Eric Killmonger beside the king. T'Challa didn't choose to kill him but instead gave him a chance. The only crime he got was being a king at the wrong time. He defeated T'Challa in fair fight and got defeated by T'Challa on the last battle. T'Challa gave him the Black Panther suit with leopard patterns as he had been obedient since. Eric have been roaming the whole Africa as Leopard Black Panther, killing criminals and saving people from slavery. He doesn't have the right travel far off and he can't leave the continent until T'Challa say so. His identity is hidden since he live in America as a SEAL, so he have records there due to his identity. Right now, he's with the royal family helping them make Wakanda and for African people's betterment. T'Challa listened to his advice and open Wakanda's borders and help the world by exchanging technology and resources, as well as battle racism and discrimination against black people and minority from European and American. Back to the present, as we greet each other, Bruce, who's new here, awkwardly bowed to T'Challa since he heard that they are a royal family. T'Challa scanned Bruce and said, "We don't do that here." Bruce confusedly looked at others watching him bow, as it is his first time coming in contact with Wakanda. Rhodey patted him on the shoulder and we walked towards inside of the palace to talk about plans and strategies to battle Thanos and his army. The room are decorated grandly with smart technology, advanced hologram that shows the wide field with grass and small stream. We sat in the chairs provided by servers and discussed about Vision's position. Vision chose to fight alongside than being cowardly hiding at the back. It is preferable to have Vision close since they can all protect him in case of ambush. Thanos' Infinity Gauntlet will be the most powerful weapon in the universe according to Bruce's description. The Power Stone and Space Stone already made Thanos a monster only few can defeat. The Soul and Reality Stones are still unfounded, while Time Stone is with Tony and Doctor Strange, and Mind Stone are with us. He has a fleet of powerful and technological army that has the power to kill all life of this planet if he choose to. Bruce Thanos have 4 generals, only 3 now since Kane defeated one just recently. Others looked at me and I shrugged. Don't get complacent, there is a possibility that they have more clones that has similar prowess than that guy. And it's not easy to defeat that guy. His powers are even comparable to Hulk, but with technique, and use a powerful weapon. I had to incinerate him and carbonized his limbs using my full power. Shuri tap her bracelet and a big projection appears on the center. The presentation showed my fight with Cull on the street. The brawl didn't take long as I flew with him to a more desolate place. Shuri looked at me and said, I used our satellite to look at your battle in case you might need some reinforcements. You might want to remove the tracker in the future inside of our suit since it might cause inconvenience. I said to her, as I guess there must be a tracker inside the battle suit to spy on us whenever she wants. The others focused on my battle and commented from time to time. Some praise me for efficiency and others pointed out my skills and techniques is rough during the fight. The power of both of us with using only sheer strength can create destruction and potholes everywhere. Dust and stones are blasted, trees and boulders thrown to each other as we progressed in the fight. Cull have weapons to strike and defend while I only have my suit and optic blast. My use of optic blast are praised my all since it not only been used as my weapon but also to support whenever necessary, like my use of it to push and distract Cull's vision to create an effect to attack his blind side. This fight also shows Cull's use of his weapon and shield. He reflected most of my optic blast to surroundings and myself, and the pickaxe is the main killer. The way the pickaxe destroy the ground and boulders thrown at him is pulverized. One hit from that pickaxe can kill a normal people with just a single wave. I even got scratched on the shoulders and many times because of my insufficient defense, and one good hit can severely injured me. Fortunately, the fight did not take too long as Cull got blinded by my optic blast at the same time had to defend to a huge boulder coming at him. The strike came and his knees got destroyed, and that's where my advantage started. The fight intensified even more and Cull and I got closer and closer to the ending of the battle, which shows in the records where I incinerated both his limbs and pummeled him to near death on the ground before I stop. The people who's watching my fight clap at my performance, as there are some who still look seriously watching and thinking of something. I know my show of prowess is incredible, but most of my fights are hidden or I quickly solve my opponents, but this time my full power showed my incredible strength that will top me in humanity, but I shake my thoughts there to prevent arrogance corroding my mind and heart. Bruce commented with wide mouth, you can have the same strength as Thor without his hammer, but your use of abilities are more flexible than Thor, who have poor control of his lightning. Yeah, I will accept that compliment, I replied to Bruce. Shuri asked her questions. Where did you place the pickaxe? Can I look at it later? It's on Quinjet along with the fragments of broken shield. Eric just quietly watch my battle, thinking that there are more powerful humans on this planet than just a super soldier. Eric have also heard our reputation as international criminals while being heroes in the dark. Because of Accord's force to people with superhuman abilities to obey their orders or else arrested. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 90, Chapter 90. Chapter 90. A few minutes later, Shuri showed a different footage where Doctor Strange fighting with Ebony Maw at the air while Iron Man is confronting the Space Donut to destroy its artillery and cannons. Lila and Spider-Man saved civilians from time to time, showing up in the camera. Doctor Strange's spells protected himself and the surroundings for more destruction, while Ebony Maw used his environment to attack Strange with telekinesis powers. The rooftop and upper floor and some roads are in ruins because Ebony Maw threw it without any care. Irons and metal wirings moved like they are alive to incapacitate Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange used many spells and even tried bringing Ebony Maw to Mirror Dimension, but Ebony Maw evaded fast on time and became cautious from then on. The two use metals and magic everywhere while Tony is busy with the space donut and infiltrated inside to start wrecking from the inside. From time to time, Iron Man will save Doctor Strange and Spider-Man will support, but Ebony Maw use the artillery as his advantage to separate each of them and only fight one by one. This reached to the point where Ebony Maw exhausted himself and decided to self-destruct the space donut while Doctor Strange lowered his guard in order to use time spell, and that caused his defeat as Ebony Maw immobilized him with cement and iron bars all over him and kidnapped him to leave this planet. Spider-Man and Iron Man flew to rescue the wizard and the Time Stone and left this world to meet the Mad Titan by themselves. The meeting was started on watching how the enemy look like and how they fight, but also get an information of their tactical ability and cunningness. Doctor Strange let his guard down because he saw his enemy decides to blow up the whole city using their spaceship's self-destruct mechanism. Now that they know that Time Stone is in space with Tony and Peter, the rest of the people chose to bring the fight to a location where we can have advantages. Vision will be centered and the focus of enemy's target. They are not sure if Thanos will directly come here first to get the Mind Stone before the other stones. Space and Power Stone is a dangerous combination, as Thanos with a very powerful strength can transfer himself anywhere he wants. The first strategy is frontal confrontation. Wakanda has energy shield and they can choose to bombard their firepower to single location and exhaust enemy's strength. There is a second possibility that Thanos will come and create a devastation, killing countless people before taking the Mind Stone. And the last possibility was Thanos threatening the Avengers to give the Mind Stone in exchange for the whole world's safety. There is a catch. Most people will choose to sacrifice few people if it's exchange for saving the world, and if Thanos or his generals announced this, the whole world will boycott their defenders just to please the Mad Titan. The discussion creates many plans and strategies, but only few has high percentage of happening while there is few that low chance to happen. Having many options are still favorable. One thing they all notice when I mentioned the crucial thing was, no matter how many strategies, plans, options and tactics they got, Thanos with unstoppable prowess and Infinity Gauntlet attached with 5 Infinity Stones, which is judged to have the power of 5 elements of the universe, will be useless. The room has a glaring silence, pin dropped silenced when they suddenly realized what I mean. They cannot take any positivity with my statement. Hulk, Thor along with Asgardian warriors like Heimdall and Loki lost and died battling Thanos and his generals. Vision and Wanda looked at each other silently. King T'Challa have no choice but to speak and create a new topic. Captain Steve's job was to motivate us, fight the enemies with all our strength and better die trying, as there is probabilities in everything no matter how small. Together we will fight. Our priority is to never let Thanos take the Mind Stone, to keep the Mind Stone out of Thanos' reach. This fight may take some of our lives, and we may even lose ourselves, but choosing to fight and defend this world is our rights and bare human dignity that nobody can take. Shuri shouted to give the warning something is entering the Earth's atmosphere. King T'Challa stood up as he declared they are here. Evacuate the city, engage all defenses and suit up. T'Challa looked at all of us, then proceeded to look outside the dome where Thanos' fleet sent his army. T'Challa nodded to Captain Steve and Vision with Mind Stone entered his perception, then proclaimed and get ready for the Infinity War. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 91, Chapter 91. Chapter 91. Shuri continued looking at her holographic computer, announcing everything to us, even what she's thinking. I think outside the Earth, in the space, a fleet of spaceships will send more outsiders to every different countries. We got situations, brother. Multiple spacecraft are entering the atmosphere but in different locations. We get outside, only to see an army of alien creature got out of the spacecraft from Thanos' fleet. It composed of the Black Order alien dogs and alien gorillas, outside of the dome. Captain Steve, how many and which countries have been invaded? Shuri, 4 location, 1 deployed outside of New York, North Korea's capital city, Pyongyang, Australia cities Melbourne, and on Russian soil. Captain Steve looked at us and said teams will be divided. Is someone has to say or volunteer with going? As captain still politely ask, even in tense situation, the hearts of all calmed down a little. I raised my hand and spoke. I'll go to take care of the one all in New York. Let Lila and Nora take North Korea's side, and since Pietro is the fastest, let him solve the situation in Australia until reinforcements cooperate to aid him. What about the one in Russia? Russia have been on our asses since day one, and we will only create conflict and misunderstandings, then end up being on arrests if we show up there, even though our intentions is good. I know people will die, but this place needs more people, as the target is the Mind Stone with vision. I argued a little, as Russia has their own strength hidden from most of the people. They have great military power. Red Guardian and even Black Widows will provide great support. Looking at Natasha and Steve, they also understand the situation, so the situation is halfway solved. Be careful to you guys, let the communicator stay on so we can contact each other even on the other side of the world. Natasha gave us her words of encouragement as our mentor and biggest sister. Lila. Nora, don't let the North Korean leader press any red button. If they cannot cooperate with you, leave them be and just continue your job until some reinforcements arrive. I gave Nora and Lila some words, as according to normal behavior of North Korean leader, he will choose to bomb the enemies if his soldiers proved to be ineffective. Captain Steve's shield have already deployed their people everywhere to support and defend normal people from alien attacks. Did they say anything to you if they have someone great as their trump card? I questioned him, thinking maybe Carol Danvers is coming. Nothing, Steve replied. I thought Captain Marvel will come, as she has the strength to be toe-to-toe with Thanos with Infinity Gauntlet. Bruce asked as he walked with Hulkbuster armor. Kane, how about those wizards? Can I borrow this thing? On his hand was the pickaxe from Kull, and I replied, the wizards won't move unless it is mystical beings that is attacking. Their job was to protect the world from mystic beings and won't interfere unless the Sorcerer Supreme commanded. Yeah, you can use that thing. Lila and Nora already coated theirself with lights and get ready to leave to teleport somewhere near North Korea. Pietro also gave his goodbye to his sister and got ready to run as fast as he can to Australia city's Melbourne. We said goodbyes and I prepared to fly to my maximum speed to fight in New York. It will only take quarter of an hour to reach New York from Wakanda with my current speed. Golden aura coated my whole body and even my eyes turn bright golden. This fight will decide if what I really did may change the timeline or still had to lose and Thanos wipe out half of all life. I've never seen myself as a real superhero, but now I will portray myself again as savior to clear all alien creatures that is attacking New York. I chose this location due to my selfishness, as Krista and Aunt Helen live here, so I had to get near in case they needed to be safe. The time of New York is on morning and the sun is not directly at the right position for my use. I just fought Cull recently, so I need to up my reserve like hell because I'm sure this might be our last important battle that will decide our fate. SHIELD agents and military have already been fighting with those alien creatures while I'm on my way. The AI on my mask kept me stay connected to the Avengers and also report to me the situation in New York. Air fighters and soldiers along with agents released all their fire powers to kill the army of alien dogs and huge alien gorillas. This army are the cannon fodders of the Black Order. They will attack anyone and anything they are commanded to. Bullets and grenades only cause minor damages to these creatures, so this might caused many casualties if someone didn't help them. Good thing I'm here. When I reached the destination, chaos and war is already happening. Many blooded soldiers and dead corpses of alien creatures laid on the ground. The Outriders or alien creatures only follow basic commands that are given by Thanos and the Black Order. During the battle, they threw themselves in seemingly endless waves against military forces, and even Wakanda's force field won't stop them, so most of them killing themselves in the process. This suggests that Outriders are mindless and operate solely on their bloodlust. Still, the Outriders have some semblance of intelligence and self-preservation, as some of them started fleeing in their spacecraft or dropships when they were losing, after all of their commanders were killed in combat. Suddenly there is a bright beam across the sky. Air fighters already contacted their superiors to announce my arrival. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 92, Chapter 92. Chapter 92. The Outriders are characterized by their leathery black and yellow skin. Most of the Outriders have 4 clawed arms, although some have been shown to have 6. Unique to the latter is a pair of pointed protrusions that spread out from their heads. They can adopt both bipedal and quadrupedal postures to walk and run. Their faces lack any visible eyes, and their mouths are equipped with 2 rows of razor-sharp teeth. But many people prefer to call them what they look like: alien dogs or alien gorillas. With my appearance, the battle stopped for a second because of my use of optic blast. I blasted the spacecraft directly and damaging it severely. Several incineration cores to top part of the spacecraft explodes. Seeing it will take a long time to incinerate the spacecraft dropship to the ground, I looked around the battlefield and choose where alien creatures are clusters. I launched myself while using optic blast and landed with an earth-shattering shockwave. Many alien creatures got pulverized and almost all of those cluster creatures died. I have no guilty conscience killing alien creatures since I'm used to it during missions. The golden aura I release seep back into my body as all soldiers and agents look at me and my surroundings. The explosion I caused surprised them so much that their look of amazement showed my astonishing display of prowess. I don't have time to show off, so I resume killing alien creatures. Optic blast became optic beam. The longer I used it and burn aliens' body and directly killing them after a few seconds of struggle. It is not easy for normal soldiers to fight these monsters since the durability of its skins cannot be penetrated by simple guns. Large machine guns and snipers have made more contributions while killing these aliens. Tanks and fighter pilots bombarded these creatures to the ground. Grenades and missiles caused explosion to farther area, and big artillery is the main weapon of the army and shield agents. My way of fighting is kick, punch, chop and optic beam. I coated my fist with reinforced gauntlet to add power because I don't have any weapon. The battlefield got cleared quickly with me taking the lead. Drones and cameras continue to record everything. My speed can still be caught by normal cameras, but it will appear blurry. The battle ensued as the spacecraft or dropship send more and more creature to supply with another wave. The creatures got the command of going around the battlefield and attack the city and the civilians. It is fortunate that this place have already been evacuated, but medical staff and support are situated at the back, so it need to be protected in case the alien creatures chose to attack them. I gain my speed and force my power to penetrate the wave of alien dogs and alien gorillas as I decided to take the base of this creatures and destroy it, but I won't go inside just to be cornered and stuck. So I flew high and used optic beam from top to bottom. I saw the main machine of the spacecraft dropship and focus my gaze there, and several seconds later, continuous explosion happened and the spacecraft was reduced to pieces. Fire and explosion killed the alien creatures and reduced their numbers greatly. The soldiers and agents at the back cheered to their highest voices, and the moral and emotion added to their strength and fire powers. The outriders or mindless alien creatures are losing and being exterminated. A command again is given. Looking up at the sky, another dropship or spacecraft that probably contains another bunch of mindless alien creatures or outriders. TSK, this is far from ending. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 93, Chapter 93. Chapter 93. The location where the dropships or spacecrafts is going to land were far from here. The spacecraft are supposed to be targeted at cities or where people are, but aiming is far different from landing. The new dropships or spacecrafts landed to a place where supposed people living there, but the whole area are also empty of people, so only buildings and houses are blown upon its crash landing. I let the soldiers and tanks to finish their job here, and I flew to new location alone. Wave upon wave of outriders or new alien dogs come out to attack anywhere and everywhere. They target anything and just causing plain destruction. I coated my fist with another gauntlet again, and optic beam kept flickering in the battlefield. Dead creatures are thrown far away, bathed in black blood. My appearance is starting to get terrifying. Drones and new cameras are directed here, as most people watching saw my figure fighting alone without any sign of exhaustion. The people cheered me, but I barely noticed them. I focus on the battlefield, as every single one of creatures I killed with my own hands numbed my mentality. The more I killed, punched to death, kicked away and tear apart. The golden aura is starting to dye the side of my hair golden. This is the sign that my sanity is blurring, and I immersed myself into killing and blood that if affected me unknowingly. The mindless creatures kept coming at me. Their numbers will soon exhaust me, as they kept pouring out endlessly. If this continues, I might be in danger, and with me being in danger will cause the morale of the soldiers and other people watching me to shrink down. With my energy coated my fist, the gauntlet cracked and my still delirious state weakened me for a moment, and an alien gorilla charged rapidly at me with its huge fist. I got blown out 4 dozen of meters. These monsters are getting their quantity to fight me over quality. A little self-awareness returned, but I still took a moment to look around and mumble to myself. I looked at the sky and inhaled air at the same time, circulated the solar energy throughout my body and then centered it on both my eyes. The energy accumulated and it created ball of energy in front of my face, while energy coming out of my eyes are transparent. The golden optic blast is more powerful than normal, as it incinerated everywhere I turn my head. The creatures charging towards me was killed. Everything is cleared with a single optic beam. Now the people watching are mouth open as they witnessed a godlike attack that can kill everything with just one look. The offense is back on my hands again. Another inhale and exhale. The solar energy circulating my body are released, and then I manipulated it to create an armor-like with golden lines and pattern around my whole arm. Lights and patterns conjured on my chest as new armor gauntlet are clinging to my arms from shoulder to fist. With the use of that powerful optic beam, I need a cooldown, so I charge for close combat. Every punch I make produce heat, and even mini shockwave is very much effective in fighting a huge quantity of enemies. With my new gained clarity, I almost exhausted my energy from that singe optic beam, so I absorb continuously while fighting so my hair go back to being color black. In half an hour, I reach again the spacecraft and jump high in the air, and my armor gauntlet disappeared as my body absorbed all solar energy around me. As I was preparing to use again my most powerful optic beam, 2 more dropships or spacecraft have entered the atmosphere according to the AI. The directions of landing should be near here, or maybe reinforcements to contain me here. The AI also mentioned that only here have already 4 spacecrafts, while Lila and Nara only have 1 new dropship or spacecraft to destroy, and the same with Russian soil as well as in the Australia. The difference here is my power alone are enough to take care of them if time is on my side. By the way, Keeper, my AI butler along with Raven the drone are with Krista and Aunt Helen to assist them and protect them both, so I use different AI assistant from the mask. Back to the present, once again the focal point of energy gathered through my eyes and a ball of golden light appeared in front of my face, bigger than the previous one as my control improve. Sing. The smooth sound effects of my optic beam is in contrast with a huge continuous explosion of the dropship or spacecraft. The people watching witnessed me soloing an entire spacecraft. Some look up to me like I'm a son of God or even the god of the sun, but no, I only heard their cheers and 2 booms. 2 new dropships or spacecraft landed not far from here, another waves of alien creatures again charged for their lives. I stayed afloat in the air and just look at this legions of creatures. I chose to take a half step on overload state, my sanity blurred a little, but I can still properly control my instincts and body. Energy again gathered in front of my face as transparent energy flowed out of my eyes. Golden optic beam targeted one of the spacecraft and burn it from bottom to the top, making it separated from each side, and explosion ensued. It is not entirely destroyed as I am farther compared to 2 previous used. Earlier I had to be near to focus my optic beam and destroyed the spacecraft to the ground. My overload state receded and I came back to being normal. I've exhausted myself 3 times today and I might need a little time to rest. The soldiers and shield agents have new reinforcements coming, so I don't need to worry too much. The mindless alien creature or some of them retreated when they saw that 1 dropship is destroyed by a single man, so fleeing first until commanded. I floated to a building where I can see familiar figures. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 94, Chapter 94. Chapter 94. On top of that building was 4 people I'm familiar with, as they've been my teammates for almost a year. It is Matt Murdock aka Daredevil, Daniel Iron Fist, Luke Cage and Jessica Jones. The 4 just watched me float to them and waited for me to talk. Long time no see, guys. Don't need to comment on that, Matt. As you can see I'm busy, so won't you guys help me? It's not a question, as they ought to take a participation to the battle. You look terrifying, man. Daniel mentioned my state of being covered with blue blood from aliens. Well, these are not mine and later you will resemble my state. Luke Cage, you've improved again by a large margin, or have you always been this powerful? Of course I also trained and improve, go now. The more you battle and fight, the faster your improvement. You all have big potential and the world needs all hands on deck, so please cover me a few minutes. I spoke while sitting while they prepare to go down. Jessica, we might need your support even in this distance while we fight alongside the soldiers. Let us handle this time and you sit there and watch. Matt, we all have the same desire as you, so watch us carefully, as our improvement might also shock you. Go go go, the new wave are coming, and show your strength to the world. I watched them from the roof and landed in a superhero way of landing. That's a little familiar. Oh, I did that earlier when I first arrived. Well, not to lie, but it's really cool way to land on the ground. Them charging to the combat zone and collided with the hive of alien monsters. Their way of fighting got the attention of all the participants as well as most people watching from afar and the internet. A guy who wear red and black combat suit with a weapon of choice that looks like a billy club that have sharp on edge to use as blade and penetrate the skin and muscle of the alien creature. The people are curious where did he come from, and information about Daredevil are found immediately as they are group known as Defenders of New York Night. Daredevil is a vigilante during the night, raiding gangs and criminal base. He help people during the dark night and he have been doing this for a long time. Many consider him a hero while there are some choosing to call him vigilante as he interfere with police work. There are critical information that only few have, and that is Daredevil was once part of International Vigilante led by Captain Steve Rogers. He disappeared for several months from New York only to be with Captain Steve Rogers roaming all over the world being an international vigilante for a short time. The way he fights visibly display in his mastery of close combat martial arts. His billy club are so precise that he can kill one creature faster than a soldier with assault rifle. With them advancing slowly, the recordings show their manifestation of heroic act. Even a guy with red and black combat suit is killing more efficiently in combat with only a mastery of martial arts. The Outriders do not utilize advanced weaponry. However, they possess greater superhuman physical abilities, making them fearsome adversaries in battle. The soldiers are ashamed but also elated that some people chose to do heroic act to help them fight the alien creatures. On the other side, another guy wearing green and yellow Asian combat robe with yellow clothing as mask fought fiercely on his own. The magical thing was his fists are glowing the same as the previous guy who was so powerful that he destroyed 3 spacecraft by himself. The glowing iron fist display a different art of combat. The glowing clenched fists is a type of energy that allows the user to have a greater amount of damage to his enemies. He danced around the combat field as he lay waste to hive of alien creatures wherever he goes. Punch after punch, his fists are getting stronger and the way of his fist flowing like nature. The style of martial arts is Kung Fu and Tai Chi from eastern part of the world. He is clearly white because that what the lower half of his face showed. His martial arts are far more advanced than what the movies and shows from Eastern country is. He advanced slowly as he moved forward while fighting continuously. He also has information that indicate he is part of the Defender group as well as the group of international vigilantes. His code name was Iron Fist, learn martial arts from Easterners and became famous vigilante and do heroic act every night. The attention and camera angled moved to a big man performing an act of combat like a boxer. Incredible resistant to alien creatures attack paired with superhuman strength, every hit pack a shocking power as the creatures get blown meters away. The guy is identified as a black man due to his hooded that only shows lower half of his face. With little investigation, Luke Cage will be known as he does not tried hard enough to hide his identity. Just like a normal black man, he had a tough lifestyle that chose boxing as violence is common from where he is from and everywhere he goes. His technique of boxing with right footsteps and strong amount of strength, he doesn't lose to the 2 previous men who wore red-black combat suit and a man who wears green-yellow combat robe with dragon mark. The flow and martial arts, maybe he's behind but he beat them both by just his durability and power. The people watching this will remember this day with heroes saving the day as they fight to protect the people. Even if some people called them vigilantes, their image as a hero will be remembered by those they saved. The last is a woman who wore tight-fitting grey combat clothes with a hood and mask on. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 95, Chapter 95. Chapter 95. The last is a woman who wore a tight-fitting grey combat clothes with a hood and a mask on. The audience focus on her display of combat as she fight her opponents differently. She had superhuman strength but the flexibility of an assassin. She threw a punch even before her enemies know where she is. Her hands turned blur from time to time just to show how fast she moves to approach her opponents. The alien creatures didn't even realize she is behind and her punch already landed on its head. Although her force are deadly, she hadn't been advanced towards the dropship or spacecraft as quick as the others. Alien creatures are flying mercilessly by some of her blows while keeping close range. The audience already knows that the four people are in one group. They subtly cooperate to each other and position themselves in a fan formation. Pressing their way to kill these mindless alien creatures, their performance captured the audience's cheers combined with their supernatural strength. This is the main reason the government want those people with superhuman strength sign the accords. Too much power held by a single person can endanger their public interest. Many superhumans already hides under the government's banner but not a single person showed up. Except for few exceptional vigilantes combating these mindless alien creatures, they are nowhere to be seen, or maybe they are far away doing their own duties. It's already been quarter of an hour. Black blood and corpses littered on the field as the soldiers and agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. attacked their enemies with all their firepower on the other side, while Daredevil and the others slowed down a little as they conserve energy to not easily lose to their own stamina and endurance. I, who is observing on top of a roof, use my breathing technique to absorb solar energy from the sunlight. It is fortunate that the sun isn't blocked by the clouds as the surrounding sky is starting to get dark and thick. I get having weird ideas as the battle kept having no winning side yet, but the allied forces were still hanging on to the quantity of these creatures. Golden miasma circled around me as they get absorbed readily and creates marking to my fists and neck. This is a new form I suddenly thought of instead of manipulating golden energy for creating a coating throughout my whole body. The mark patterns also reinforce my strength, so it also has heat properties. I flew up and the audience noticed me again, resuming my battle. A screech was heard from the backmost of the alien creatures that retains a semblance of awareness, but that command didn't sound good to human ears. The mindless creature all got agitated, then a havoc intensified as they look and move hysterically, and formation are needed anymore because one person has to deal with more than 3 alien creatures. This is the last struggle for this alien since no more dropships or spacecraft are getting launched from outer space. I was seen using a movement technique that covered his legs with a layer of golden miasma that blurred my figure. I used my legs to kick against the ground. The creatures I passed through were lying down and just leave the body hurling in the air, thrown at each other's. With all of us fighting and cooperating, the enemy's number dwindle faster, and only those who got around to attack the side and the back are a problem, but since we're already frontally fighting, we have no other option but let them handle it on their own. My purpose is to destroy the last dropship or spacecraft, and that's how hysterical these alien creatures were, since they need to protect it by attacking until new wave or reinforcements comes. It's been almost a couple of hours fighting to defend this place, and the situations in Russia is still a problem for them. The North Korean country has even more bad news as their leader sent missiles and artillery directly to the spacecraft and bombarding the aliens without care. Lila and Nara are part of the explosion. They have no care about the safety of their helpers as they took it to their own hands and refused to cooperate. Lila and Nara chose to watch first on the sidelines as the soldiers and officers cheered, thinking that it is an easy battle and they can defeat these alien creatures by themselves with only military weapons and even without superhumans. Smokes and fires scattered throughout the field and forest burning, Mountains are shattered and even normal civilians felt the earth-shaking tremor caused by the artillery and missiles. Shrieking sounds echoed throughout the place as new hive of alien dogs and gorillas come out of the fire and smokes. Some are complete and doesn't seem to be injured by the explosion, but there are also some who have burned body, missing limbs charging through the line of defense. They all growled and approached people closest to them. Moreover, they possess greater superhuman physical abilities, making them fearsome adversaries in battle. The officers panicked and shouted to their soldiers to continue bombing them with bombs and artilleries, but unlike the previous attack, the mindless alien creatures have been commanded to evade those missiles. The attack ensued as the enemies are closing in rapidly, so foot soldiers grab their weapons and start firing them on those mindless creatures' way. Normal bullets are ineffective and only big guns like machine guns and sniper rifle can penetrate the skin and muscles then kill the enemies. North Korea may have powerful military force, but the enemies that they are facing currently overwhelm them with numbers. Suddenly, the officers look for the two women who earlier approached them to cooperate to defend this place and fight the creatures together, only to be betrayed and ignored. Their desperation have been seen by the leader. He reprehended his subordinates that the war is still ongoing and they need more arms to obliterate those alien monsters. Despite the great tension, the North Korean leader is still doing his duties as a leader of military nation instead of backing down and hiding. Meanwhile, Lara and Nora exclude themselves on the fight even with the officers shouting for them to help. Not to be too cold-blooded, but getting betrayed once does not mean there will be another chance. Nora and Lila waited for a few more minutes when the outriders or mindless alien creatures have penetrated the defense and started slaughtering soldiers, and officers started running. Several air fighters received their orders to commence attacks. Bullets from them have difficulty hitting the targets as they nimbly moved. But it shows the advantages of being on the air while continuously firing to the enemy's side. Bombs kept dropping as explosions of mini-nuclear bombs are being deployed. That's where Lila and Nora stood up to prepare, solving first those who can command a nuclear attack. Lila and Nora teleported to an area wherein they are surrounded by Korean military officers and soldiers. Their purpose was to kidnap those high-ranking generals and the leader to prevent them hitting the red button. Talking won't work as they are stubborn than this alien creatures, and if they are losing, they won't mind if they have launched a nuclear weapon. Nora and Lila created a havoc inside. Lila's light weapon manipulation is a piece of cake if normal people are the opponents. No matter how fast they draw their guns, Lila kept flashing all over the place and knock out everyone inside. Lila has light weapon everywhere and her eyes glowed to use flashbang-like attack, blinding the opponents and kicking them unconscious. Nora on the other hand transform herself to her combat mode, pinkish skin, claws and tail. Her speed and powers are not to be scoffed at as she crawl everywhere like a nimble cat, taking people's body with just a single arm. Her tail became her main weapon to tie people and knock them out. Guns and knives were sliced by her claw but didn't completely cut off. Her claws are not sharp enough to cut knives like vibranium blade. The two women who have attacked this place didn't give a chance for these officers to request help. Rapid movements are unheard by those outside since it is soundproof room. After knocking them all out, Lila and Nora locked the doors and knocked the people who's been guarding outside. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 96, Chapter 96. Chapter 96. The two women successfully completed their first mission, not to let them have a chance to press the red button. Now the chaos and screaming people drowned by the bombs and gunfire. The mindless creatures have charged inside the first line of defense and already on their way to another. The soldiers cannot stop these outriders since it has super strength and can even walk either quadrupedal or bipedal, and it enhanced the ferociousness in any battle. Couple of spacecraft or dropships were released from outer space, were sent crashing down in and around the plains and mountains of North Korean soil. The doors opened and the outriders were unleashed upon the North Koreans' planes. Lila and Nora look up away from the battlefield and saw a Quinjet coming this way. They recognize it as part of the shield since it has a logo of shield. This seems to be the reinforcement that will be the fighting force to battle this mindless alien creatures. The Quinjet arrive at the air in the middle of the combat zone, opened the hatch, and a single woman came down. She had a black shield uniform displaying she is part of shield. Her hands contain silver metal gauntlet, hair tied to ponytail and no parachutes. Lila recognized the face of the woman and she smiled, seeing they met again after a long time. Seeing Lila smiling, Nora curiously asked Lila, "Do you know that woman? She seems to be part of SHIELD's combat force. Is she also a superhuman?" "Yes, I know her, but not too close, but she helped us in the past and we also know that she is also an inhuman," Lila replied, watching the woman came down the ground with earth-shaking momentum. The woman, or formerly known as Sky, a genius hacker recruited by SHIELD. She awakened her inhuman genes and gained the ability to produce seismic waves or earth-shaking ability. She has the ability to produce massive vibratory waves of power that cause earthquake-like effects, augmented by special gauntlets she wears. She has fine-tuned this ability to be able to impact very small areas as well as large ones, and remains largely immune to the effect herself. Her surrounding area was shattered with her earthquake attack. The grounds are lifted by her vibration powers. Boulders and square-shaped land are terraformed with just a single touchdown when she got off the Quinjet. Sky gained a strong momentum and keep up her offensive display. Shockwave and Earth crushed as the mindless creatures cannot use their quantity advantages, with Sky in the middle vibrating her surroundings and killing the outriders with powerful vibrations. The soldiers and air fighters cheered for the reinforcements as they avoided shooting in that part to avoid hitting their own allies. Lila and Nora nodded at each other and then teleported to the area where outriders are rapidly charging and slaughtering the soldiers, still firing their rifles and grenades exploding from time to time. Lila manipulated her light weapons to stab the heads of these mindless creatures. No matter how tough their skins are, Lila can penetrate her light weapons deeply. It is still a struggle to kill so many at once on close combat, so Lila teleported everywhere to hit the enemies at the back of their heads. There is certain difficulty if they fight frontally, as the mindless creatures have superhuman physical strength and only using tricks can she easily move from one place to another. She used spear most of the time to have longer reach to stab, as dagger prove much difficult to use unless it is for finishing blow. One spear at a time. She can't blind these creatures since they are eyeless, but she has the most efficiency on killing outriders. Her body kills keep piling up as she advanced towards the dropships or spacecraft along with the others, especially Sky. Sky also noticed the arrival of two women who kept flashing lights and killing these mindless creatures like a normal wild animal. She recognized the woman who fights using light weapons and teleporting everywhere in the battlefield. But there is a pink-skinned woman who have sharp claws and tails fighting alongside the soldiers. Nora claws tears the limbs of each mindless creatures and let the soldiers finish them off with rains of bullets. Nora has some struggles fighting alone with those mindless creatures, so she cooperated with the North Korean soldiers. Language barrier is not a problem since she learned a bits of Korean language when she's young. Their cooperation was seen by many and the others also followed their footsteps. Lila and Nora tears the limbs or weaken the enemies and let the soldiers use their guns to finish it off. SHIELD agents also did the same with Sky. A cooperative agreement is happening even without talking. The battle reached the smooth situation where casualties are only occurring when some careless soldiers are attacked behind. There are still hives of outriders inside the dropship, but a couple of hours like this will exterminate the enemies and achieve victory for all humanity. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 97, Chapter 97. Chapter 97. Location, Australia, Melbourne. 8:50 p.m. Currently, Pietro was running on the surface of the ocean to reach to his destination. Australia's Melbourne. He was alone at the moment, and his flashing figure created a line of blur since his speed can separate the water while running. Silver blurry line crossed the sea without stopping, and he needs to get there to help on time. The reinforcements are also on the way. Wakanda's army have the responsibility to protect their nation and fight those outriders. Getting a few Talon fighters and Dragon flyers is the Wakanda's special air force. A few air fighters are on their way, a little behind Pietro. A couple of dozen minutes later, he touched the soil of Australia and commenced running on the ground faster than ever. When he got to Melbourne, a few minutes later, devastation caused by the dropships landed on the middle of city of Melbourne. Evacuation plan was happening while police and soldiers fought bravely to protect the people. Clusters of outriders charge and slaughter people with their absolute physical power. Tearing flesh, biting with their sharp teeth, and even charging through the defense lines of tanks. Only Special Air Force have the chance to fight back. Gory scenes as blue and red blood mixed, screams and cries deafening in Pietro's ears. SHIELD agents support the military with their artillery and Shitori technology turned into energy weapons. Many of these Shitori technology have been researched by the governments and distributed around the world to be turned into different uses. But only big companies and smart people have gained a breakthrough to turn those things into energy weapons. SHIELD agents fired continuously on the mindless alien creatures. Nothing can stand on the artillery's way as they all burn and died after a little twitching. Pietro didn't waste any more time as he ran to save a group of refugees. Children and mothers have been targeted by mindless creatures. The screaming got Pietro's attention, so he quickly saved them by punching the outrider away with his speed. Since getting a combat uniform suited for himself, he requested a pair of vibranium gauntlets. His speed kills the enemies the fastest. In one line of enemies lay dead just him passing. The audience has taken notice of silver blur saving them from time to time. No camera capture any figure, but they know some superhero have arrived. Quicksilver, the people thought. An unimaginable speed cleared the monsters from the nearest vicinity. Mindless creatures just fall down every time a Quicksilver pass. The soldiers and law enforcement got a few seconds of breathing time. Pietro bought them a few seconds to go in formation and then save those needed to be treated. The techniques Pietro learned is used at every give moment. Kicking and throwing a punch is so precise that his killing efficiency is more than most SHIELD agents with energy weapon. He also save people from time to time by pushing them a little or carrying them in short distance. When people got into formation, soldiers and agents have their weapons ready, police evacuating the civilians. Pietro decided to slow down a little. His speed may be superhuman and he had enhanced physique, but it is not comparable to super soldiers. The way he use his powers is very simple. The quicker he move, the surroundings slowed down. Meaning, his body is fast literally. He doesn't use any magic or barriers. His physique was strong enough to handle his speed limit, but it also manifests that everything inside him is fast. When he runs, His muscle strength will protect him and skin took care of the temperature. The blood flows through his heart quicker and his heart would explode if he tries to run continuously without any rest. The people are now on their advantage, brought by a single man so fast that there is still no camera who have captured his image. Pietro rapidly changed his direction, ducking and sliding in every way. The only maneuver he don't use much is jumping. Sliding in every way is much easier than jumping, so he seldom jump into anything as his legs is his greatest assets. Running on the side of walls and building help him on skipping on bumping to many people. As he can solve this ordeal with soldiers and agents' help, they still needed reinforcements like now. Buzzing sounds came from distance. Wakanda's Air Force announced their arrival as they will support to exterminate the mindless creatures. When the hatch opens, a man who wore Black Panther suit, leopard, came down with a cool way of landing. The audience are captivated by the landing and the new reinforcement. Pietro ran to his side and greeted him. "Eric, you've come. My cousin let me go out the kingdom and sent me here as your partner. But I notice you not needing support anymore," Eric Killmonger said. "I may be quick, but I still need rest and my endurance cannot keep up with my speed, and it is not like I came down from a Talon fighter, I even had to run from Wakanda to here," Pietro replied. Eric looked at his surroundings and nodded. The new dropship or spacecraft send more outriders to terrorize the city, and only people with high-tech weapons and superhuman ability can go toe-to-toe to this mindless alien creatures. The two got on their stance for battle. Eric suit up and then run rapidly with his vibranium claws and super soldier physique. Pietro became silver blur again and he passed through the enemy lines and start attacking the outriders near the dropship. The two's timely arrival with Talon fighter and Australia's Air Force, the mindless creatures' numbers dwindled. Without any strong commanding figure, they are slaughtered in reversal. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 98, Chapter 98. Chapter 98. Back to earlier that day, 3rd POV, space. The Q-ship was a massive spaceship used by Thanos and the Black Order. These ring-shaped vessels were stored inside the even larger spaceship that ambushed Thor's alien ship and were deployed during the first invasions piloted by Ebony Maw. Finding himself to be unable to take the Time Stone from Doctor Strange, Maw beamed himself and an unconscious Strange to the Q-ship, where Maw began torturing Strange for possession of the eye. Concurrently, two other members of the Black Order, Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight, used a different Q-ship. Their mission was to get the other Infinity Stone from Vision, the Mind Stone. Currently, Tony and Peter are inside the Q-ship to rescue Doctor Strange from Ebony Maw. The two created a plan to get Ebony Maw out of equation and take Doctor Strange to go back to Earth to get help. The plan was great and the cooperation of both of them can be said to be impeccable. A little distraction from torturing Doctor Strange, Ebony Maw didn't realize that the two followed him and boarded the Q-ship and waiting to take him out. A small fight broke out. Ebony Maw grabbed what is closest to him and tried to fight back. Tony was ready for this and decided to continue the plan, blowing up the side of Q-ship. Ebony Maw, along with Doctor Strange, got sucked out from the Q-ship, but Spider-Man to the rescue webbed Doctor Strange and pulled him in back to the Q-ship. The small mistake was Peter missed several times and the webbings also got sucked out. He dove to get nearer to Doctor Strange to hit the target precisely at last. 4 retractable spider limbs appeared on Iron Spider-Man's back and assisted Peter on pulling Doctor Strange. Tony iced the whole of the Q-ship immediately to avoid getting sucked out. The three sighed in relief. The plan was successful. Doctor Strange met the Peter Parker and introduced each other. Peter, being himself as young superhero, misunderstood Doctor Strange's name, but Doctor Strange have no time to entertain Peter on his antics, so he turned to Tony and had a talk. "We must turn this ship back now to Earth. The Earth is now on danger and many more will continue to invade." Doctor Strange talked while finding something inside his robe. Suddenly, a red coat flew on Doctor Strange's way and used its corner to show something. Doctor Strange looked at the red coat and accepted the ring. "Tony, yeah, I know, and I should study first how to control this spaceship. There seems to be no bioscanners, not too complicated procedure to control this. The problem ID how to turn this thing. Tony also wants to go back, but first time flying and spaceship also need time to figure things out." Tony argued with Doctor Strange about the stone and how to protect it, but Doctor Strange argued back as he is the keeper of the Eye of Agamotto and no one else is more capable protecting the stone than him. Tony replied that Doctor Strange got kidnapped and needed saving him from Ebony Maw. While the two were talking, Peter is bored, so he go around inside the ship to look for anything. He heard clacking sounds and he look from where the sounds come from. Suddenly his spider sense moved his body, a hole was blasted from the outside as someone flew inside. "Ebony Maw." Peter got startled and shouted to Tony and Doctor Strange. Ebony Maw attacked Spider-Man immediately after he saw him. Using his telekinetic abilities, the ship are narrow and tunnels full of metals can be controlled. Peter fought for dozens of seconds but got easily subdued due to small space and got blown to the wall. Ebony Maw had to use the spider webs Peter shot to cling to the spaceship, then opening a hole for him to get in. Ebony Maw used metals and iron bars to use as spears, but the retractable spider limbs protected Peter from certain death. Tony and Doctor Strange came to his rescue. Tony used his nanotechnology weapons to fire at Ebony Maw. Doctor Strange used spells to fight back Ebony Maw's telekinesis. The small spaces of the Q-ship proved to be Ebony Maw's domain. Anything on the ship is his personal weapon. No matter how the two fought back, in a matter of time they will be defeated. Unless Tony chose to blow another hole through the Q-ship, but that will prove to be very dangerous since Peter is alone and tied by metal bars. They cannot risk using large amounts of firepower or spells and risk dying in space, especially Peter who is immobilized. Ebony Maw also covered the hole where he got in, as outside of the space will kill them in a matter of minutes. Doctor Strange used his talent and prowess as Sorcery Supreme. Spells bombarded Ebony Maw and they are all on the verge of getting in the mirror world. Ebony Maw used large metal bars as shield and crumpled the whole area except his position. Peter is stuck on the extremity with the iron spider suit protecting him from the weights. Iron Man is also stuck. Doctor Strange had to get him out and they both find Peter's location. Ebony Maw is gone. Before he left, damaging the controls was a priority in order to prevent them piloting back to Earth. Doctor Strange almost had him. He also prioritized taking or destroying most technology inside Ebony Maw's clothes. He still remembered he has a way to self-destruct the ship, and then injured Ebony Maw severely on the last bout. Ebony Maw chose to flee as 3 superpowers is not that easy to defeat. He already contacted Thanos and the Black Order, and the route of the Q-ship will automatically turn to Titan planet where they will meet Thanos and present the stones. Now that Ebony Maw failed to get the Time Stone, but he planned the second most important thing, send the Time Stone with the Timekeeper to Thanos and let him get it himself. Ebony Maw had nothing on him except communicator to contact the rest of the Black Orders. He boarded the pod to get out of the Q-ship and waited for the other Q-ship to get him. Corvus Glaive and Proxima Midnight controlled the Q-ship and get Ebony Maw aboard. Corvus, you failed. I sent the Time Stone to the location. Ebony Maw stared at Corvus and replied. Proxima got in between the two and declared the last stone is on Earth. The Mind Stone will be our priority from now on, we must not fail no matter what. The Q ship turned to Earth's location and they get ready to take the last Infinity Stone. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 99, Chapter 99. Chapter 99. The three Doctor Strange, Tony and Peter sat and thought about any plans. Before Ebony Maw left, the Q ship's main control is damaged and now they can only think of another plan to get back. Doctor Strange still has the sling ring and they have a last chance to turn and go back to Earth. But Tony suggested different plan. Under no circumstances, the Time Stone will not be brought to Thanos. You don't understand what Thanos is capable of, how much he can bring to Earth on the last battle at New York, but I saw it and he's been inside my head since. Wait, you forgot something. Unlike anybody else, I don't work for you. Due to saving you, we are now in a flying donut billions of miles away from Earth without any backup. Peter raised his hand. I'm back up. Tony, no, you're still a kid. The adults are talking. I thought he was your sidekick. Tony, the ship is self-correcting its course and we don't have control of it. When the Battle of New York happened, everything changed for Tony. The knowledge that hostile alien forces were waiting outside the void was too much for him to process. Tony solemnly said, instead of bringing the fight on Earth, let's bring the fight to him. The Mind Stone is safe with the Avengers. We don't need to put all stone to one location. Doctor Strange, you're saying we are going to fight Thanos on our own? Doctor Strange contemplated while staring at Tony Stark's eyes. All right, Stark, we go to him. But if there ever a choice of between saving either you both or the stone, I will choose the stone because the universe depends on this. Tony Stark spoke. Fair enough. Tony walked to Peter and presented him with words and style of knighthood. Kid, you're an Avenger now. Peter's eyes light up and smile crept up his lips. He lifted his chest high and chin up, showing how proud he was at the moment. Doctor Strange, Iron Man and Spider-Man, instead of going back to Earth, went to continue to meet Thanos with the Guardians of the Galaxy. Few hours ago, as the three waited inside the Q ship to reach where the spaceship will take them, Peter butt in the conversation of the two adults. Peter tried to warn Tony and Doctor Strange of something he's feeling due to spider sense. Tony looked at Peter and frowned. Looking around, he suddenly noticed an incoming rolling item in the midst of their group. Tony immediately don up the bleeding edge Mark L armor as he brace for incoming explosion. Peter also suit up his nanotech iron spider suit as they all three got blown off. 3 intruders charges at the other 3, but Tony saw that the opponents coming their way and then fired his repulsor. Doctor Strange conjured spells as he defended while floating. Peter, on the other hand, is currently webbing an alien woman coming his way. A muscular grey alien who had crimson tattoos throws his daggers at Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange defended and used a lasso spell. Tony fought the last guy who seemed to use gadgets and a quad blasters. Tony got stuck on a metallic pillar as the guy lunges at him and used advanced gadgets that work like a magnet. Tony used his suit's power to unstuck himself. This short interaction, battling without any words, displayed the resilience of Mark L's suit. The man who used quad blasters decided to take their opponent's teammate as a hostage to ask questions. Pushing a button behind his ears, the man showed his face while holding his quad blaster at Peter's temple. The intruders were obviously the Guardian of the Galaxy. As their leader, Peter Quill aka Star-Lord with Drax the Destroyer and Mantis. They found this Q-ship as they are tracking Thanos and the Black Order in order to save Gamora. The team separated at the time Thor needed their help. Gamora with Peter Quill and Drax and Mantis goes to the location of the Reality Stone which had been on the Collector's possession. The four is too late as Thanos already created a trap for them in order to kidnap Gamora, whom in which knows the location of the Soul Stone. Peter Quill failed to fulfill Gamora's wish on killing her than being back on Thanos' hands. Thanos trapped them and didn't kill them with the Reality Stone in his Infinity Gauntlet. Thanos wanted fate to decide whether these people will survive the snap, or not. With Gamora gone, Peter Quill tracked everywhere and located one of Thanos' Q-ship. They raided it thinking they will see some of Thanos' subordinates and interrogate them of where he might be. The confrontation lasted only for a couple of minutes and decided to take one of each as hostages. Everybody, chill the F*** out, stay where you are. Peter Quill took Peter as bargain and Tony rearranged his nanotech to create a cannon blaster in front of Drax's face. I'm gonna ask this one time, where is Gamora? Peter Quill asked seriously. Tony withdrew his helmet and also asked his question. Oh, I'll do you one better, who is Gamora? Drax, who may or may not realize the seriousness of the situation, commented, then I'll do you one better, why is Gamora? Everybody glanced down at him, who is currently lying on the ground. Peter Quill, who is already used to Drax's antics, ignores him. Tell me where the girl is or I'll fry French this little freak. Tony interrupted him and said, let's do it, you shoot him and I'll blast this guy. Drax, do it Quill, I can take it. Mantis panicked a little, no he can't. Doctor Strange, help the situation. Yes, she's right, he can't take it. Peter Quill's voice is getting irritated. You don't want to tell where she is, that's fine. I'll just kill all three of you after I beat Thanos out of myself, starting with this little freak. Peter Quill shoved his blaster at Spider-Man thinking they are part of Thanos. Doctor Strange got the words and asked to check. Wait. Thanos. Let me ask you one time. What master do you serve? Master. What am I supposed to say, Jesus? Tony rolled his eyes and remarked, you're from Earth. Not from Earth, from Missouri. Yeah, that's on Earth. Spider-Man withdrew his helmet and mumbled a question. So you're not with Thanos? With Thanos? No, I'm here to kill him. Wait, who are you guys? We're the Avengers. Mantis, you're the one Thor told us about. So you know Thor? Yeah, tall guy, not that good looking, needed saving. Doctor Strange, where is he now? Somewhere to forge his weapon to use in order to kill Thanos. Comment. 0 comment. Vote. Chapter 100, Chapter 100. Chapter 100. The time happened to pass on as the Q-ship directed its course to a planet whereby named Titan. A place corroded by time as resources got exhausted. Long ago, it was a beautiful planet with godlike Titan Eternals as its inhabitants. But soon overpopulation caused its natural resources towards the danger of extinction. Thanos proposed an cruel genocidal solution. Kill the half to save the other half, and the selected halves should be random. He was accused of having mental problems, became known as the Mad Titan and got banished from Titan. Soon Titan met its inevitable future. Titan Eternals faced extinction, leaving Thanos as its sole survivor. Thanos took oath that he would never let any other planet to suffer the same fate across the universe. So he started searching for ways to make his previous genocidal plan to save the universe, which ultimately led him to search for the Infinity Stones. Q-ship entered the atmosphere of the planet. Soon, Gravitational force affects the whole spaceship. Tony maneuver the damaged control to steer clear of desolate surface of the planet. Q ship crash landed on the surface but didn't cause any major explosion. The consequential landing on this planet didn't cause serious harms to the people inside. Getting out to investigate the place, all of them look at the place filled with grim pain and devastation. Extinct and fallen remains of a great civilization have marked this planet but fell to the battle with time, corroded and destruction left this world as unlivable world as it is. Since the planet are desolate, no living organisms have been staying in this world. Peter Quill used an alien gadget to measure the gravity of the area. Doctor Strange sat floating on one side to cast a spell using the Eye of Agamotto. It is time to look at the future possible timelines in order to peek on how to make plan on defeating Thanos. This is their only chance. Thanos may know that he has to fight in order to get the Time Stone, but he has no clue on who were his opponents. However, Thanos with Infinity Gauntlet attached with 4 Infinity Stones is one of the creature that has the title stronger than most species in the universe. Mantis and Drax being themselves, a whole bunch of people who have different way of thinking is on the other side spending time by themselves. Tony and Peter Parker just watched the two people. Tony is talking while breaking down his plans about Thanos coming their way, and they had to use all their advantages when he noticed Drax yawning. Tony, are you yawning in the middle of the conversation? Did you ever heard what I said? Drax confused replied, I stopped listening after hearing you said we need a plans. While Peter Quill doesn't seem to see anything wrong with them. Swinging around on making a plan isn't exactly what they do. Peter, what is exactly is it they do? Mantis, kick names, take us. Drax, that's right. Tony sighed exasperatedly. Birds of feather flock together. Tony called the attention of all people to participate in planning or tell them the plan and execute it accordingly. He also needs to introduce each of their abilities to make the most out of it. The two have both made plan discussions on the surface of Titan. While Tony spoke for a good several minutes of his time, Peter Parker just nodded to every word Tony mentioned. Peter Quill being himself suggested his own plans. I like your plan and don't call us plucky, we don't know what it means. Like I said, I like your plan except it sucks, so let me do the plan and that way it will really be good. It is all about another dance-off. Drax mentioned something that happens in the past. No, it's not dance-off. Star-Lord still remembers that embarrassing moment. Dancing to distract his opponent, but it succeeded nevertheless. Peter asked curiously, dance off? Like in Footloose? Yeah, like the Footloose. Is it still the freest movie of all time? Star-Lord asked. It never was. Star-Lord's face fell down hearing that the only movie he remembered from his childhood hometown was never that famous or great. Tony and Star-Lord resume their discussion about plans while Mantis notices something strange about Doctor Strange. Excuse me, does your friend often do that? Mantis asked while observing Doctor Strange's state. Doctor Strange moved his head multiple times like he is watching nightmares. Tony walked closer as Doctor Strange opens his eyes and then screamed. Tony, are you all right? Peter, what just happened to you? Doctor Strange, I look forward in time to view alternate futures, to view all the possible future. To see outcomes in incoming conflict. Star-Lord, how many did you find? 14,999,000. How many we win? Tony Stark asked cautiously. Doctor Strange quietened down, then with seriousness, looked at his eyes and then raised his fingers. 2. That's it, guys. Hope you like the video. Like, share and subscribe the channel. Also make sure to tell me your recommendation in the comment section down below. Thanks for watching.